All right, welcome back to Don't Think, Just Charge. I'm Dave, he's Harvey, and today we're doing a review of Verl's first online TTS tournament for one-page rules. Let's get into it. So a very frequently requested video for us is how do you prepare for events? How do you do your analysis? And this is part of the series of videos that hopefully helps people get a bit of an insight into that. We are going to be reviewing Verl's first TTS tournament. Now, if you didn't see this, lovely chap on the internet on the OPR official Discord has been advertising and running events. He's run one. We're going to go over the data from that now, along with a few of our own predictions as we read the pack. There is another one on the 11th of July. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Sign up. Sadly, we are both busy that day, and I think that we won't be able to make it. But we will very gladly do another review like this. I'm desperate to get into one of these events. Someday I will find a way to make my diary line up. We're going to be doing this review blind. We haven't looked at this other than, well, you can see that we've got this. Check to make sure that the pages were working before we got all into it, but we haven't looked at the data, haven't particularly looked at the maps other than to click on them. I did watch Warboss Fitz's videos on it, actually, so I tell a lie, I have seen the maps. There we go. But I haven't analysed them in a technical sense, as we're going to do now. And then we're going to give you our predictions on what armies we would hope to see and where we'd hope to see them come out in the day.
Yep.
Let's get into it, shall we? For those of you watching this on YouTube and you notice there's a bit more skin on show than usual, it is...
We've heard your requests. Everyone's been asking for a topless video for the longest time, and finally it's a shoulder reveal.
Sign up now to the Patreon. No, it is 37, 38 degrees in the UK at the moment. We're in the middle of a heat wave. We are dying. We are very, very sweaty boys. So
not well equipped for it either in the UK.
No, not at all. I've got a fan right here. Harvey's got two fans on him.
Yeah. I'm just blowing hot air at me. It's really nice.
If we go a bit loopy in this video, you will understand why. Hopefully, you'll just get a bit of a kick out of it. So let's see if we can stay on top of our own sanity here. Well, Havoc Gate won a casual 2,000 points Grim Dark Future tabletop simulator tournament with some pretty cool little artwork here. So let's get into the overview. It was on the 23rd of May, 2026. 3 rounds. And the first and the third were standard game scoring. That is points being scored by objectives controlled in the final round. Game 2, progressive. So you get points each round. The tournament hosted on the tournament Discord server. Not sure what that one is exactly, but no doubt that
I think it's specifically for this tournament.
Very
good.
Made
a Discord, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. You're only allowed one army book, so no mixed armies. Grim Dark Future, OPR official books, no creators, no partners, no custom ones. Force organization, and no narrative heroes. Pretty standard stuff. The tournament was organized between 3.5.2 to 3.5.3 during the time of 3.5.2. I'm just trying to remember. This was a 3.5.3 event. Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
This was just
that's around UKG time,
right? Yeah. So we're in 353. 2 things were banned: dangerous terrain debuff, which was the Havoc Brothers special rule, and your favorite, the Court Henchman from Dark Elf Raiders.
Which is actually one that, if you're, I don't know if you were part of this conversation, but he actually came into our Discord asking for help with bans, and we were the ones who submitted these. Not that there were people talking about the dangerous terrain one, and I mentioned the Court Henchman.
Yeah, definitely. I think good ways of removing uninteractive game rules. Really,
yeah, for sure.
I'd be interested to know if Inquisition have made an appearance yet in any tournaments, really, because they, of course, carry the army-wide rule. We can talk about that at another point.
Maybe next patch.
Yeah. The winning player will be decided based on the number of games won, with tiebreakers on the total number of victory points. Very reasonable. You don't know. 3 rounds. It presents itself very well for an 8-player tournament. because you will guaranteed have one person at 3-0. But if you've got more than that, there's only so much time in a day for a TCS tournament. So I think that's pretty square and reasonable. We're using the core and beginner's guide, or the free rules. Various rules and practices can be found in the channels. Understandable. Scoring. Opponents will be chosen randomly for all 3 matches using a Swiss pairing system, meaning that after the first match, people will play each other's with the same or similar amounts of tournament points or victory points and tournament wins. So they've done a points system here. For a win, you get 3 points. For a loss, for a draw, you get 1 point, and for a loss, you get 0 points. Pretty common. We see that in other tournaments, which means that if after round 1 you've won a game, you'll be playing someone else who won their first game. Round 2, if you've won 2 games, you'll play against someone else who's won 2 games, and so on. Line of sight. It says regular line of sight from the OPR tournament pack. I refer to this as hybrid line of sight, hybrid true line of sight, but I can't remember. It might have been renamed, or I could just be naming it incorrectly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the one we like the most. It's like, if you can see, but there's certain extra conditions for toughness.
Yes,
which just help with mini agnosticism.
Yeah, it really does. And this is on TTS, so I would expect most people actually are going to use the Games Workshop stuff that's on there, which is pretty decent, I think. But this does just help for those moments, people scaling things weirdly, and just it's an extra bit of wrapping to help those moments where someone goes, ooh, can you, can't you? Getting down into obscure positions and just saying, tough 6 can see your tough 6 over tough 3s. Easy.
It's one of those kind of weird things about mini agnosticism where you actually need to be more strict to allow more freedom, right? Like if you just allow absolute freedom, then people run away with it.
Yeah, very good. And that's the end of the overview. Okay, so we've got 2 standard games and 1 progressives game. That's what I want to check out, and I'm sure we will see very soon. Let's go on to the maps and scoring. So each game in the tournament had a different name. We have Havoc Incursion, River Compound, and Terminal Prosecution, which relates to the Steam Workshop maps. The OPR table by Urfio, mod on the Discord, was recommended as a base table for games. Excellent. We've seen that before. We're not going to dwell on that. And then Verl themselves has made maps with a bit of commentary here. So the first one is this Havoc Incursion. I'm not going to boot up Steam and go and examine it in great detail. We're just going to do an overlap, an overlook like this. They are all symmetrical, we've been told. And this one here, so I can see, let's get the old spectacles on. I can see plenty of difficult looking terrain, some open fire channels, but I'm seeing lots of terrain, which I think is very good for OPR.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there are, you say that it's a bit hard to see the trees on the bottom left-hand side, but if you look to the top right, because it's symmetrical, you can see there are little patches of trees there.
Here we go. That's a better way of doing it.
But I mean, it looks like pretty decent. A lot of it's squared off, which is obviously nice for kind of competitive play. It's very clear where things are when they're square. But yeah, overall looks like a decent amount of terrain. And obviously to note, this is 5 objectives. So 5 objectives tends to favor more activations, and they're very far apart, which also favors more activations and mobility. Yes. So already into game 1, we're kind of making predictions that we'd expect to see people who have brought more units do better here. I
agree with that. I can't remember where I got this map from. Maybe because Verl sent this to us when it was initially being advertised. I used this map as one of my practice ones for UKGE. And I played against Dark Elves on it on one game. I can't remember what else I played against, maybe a Dow list as well. And this is really good for Strider and flying based units. Really good for multiple objectives. For high unit count because of the multiple objectives, as you say. And shooting did struggle on this. I had my orcs, which had quite a shooting focus. They struggled. I think I had a couple of drawn games when I did my test for this one. Because I played that these objective pieces can see into and out of, but not through, our typical kind of stuff.
I mean, one thing I will say is actually, it looks like shooting would have a tough time. But if shooting's actually in the middle of the board, it's relatively open in the middle of the board. Like if you move towards that right-hand objective, you've got line of sight in all sorts of places, right, drawing through those gaps.
Yeah, this was a big firing line here and this here. I found that trying to get things into the middle for shooting control is very difficult because by being in the middle of the board, you are more prone to being charged. So whilst you can get into good spots, it can also be a bit of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So very good. So that is Havoc Incursion. The next one is, what was this one called? River Compound. Oh, so Havoc Incursion. Here's the narrative. Potentially the most balanced map of the tournament, one which I've seen being played the most on a casual level. Before the tournament, every now and then when people shared screenshots of their games or wanted to play casual games, the map was built with an easy introduction into the tournament. Oh, so it's meant to be a player-friendly opening round, which it does well enough. Certain forest pieces could have been bigger, with different spacing, but overall an excellent map. Yeah, I'd agree. This is a pretty good map. So River Compound. So that's this one here. Ooh, so this I think had
diagonal deployment
zones.
Almost certainly.
4 objectives, a big river in the middle, which I would presume would be dangerous terrain.
Dangerous, yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends who's playing.
But again, square, less terrain dense. I kind of see this one as. So maybe shooting armies are back on the menu a little bit. These are low lying, so probably shoot through. But yeah, if you're playing left to right here, get some shooter guys into this ruin here, and you're going to have quite a loss of control over the board. Same down here, right? If you can control this corner, you can fire up the board quite handily.
I think one thing I will say about this is when you make a deployment zone diagonal, you obviously increase the distance between the first objectives quite significantly.
Yeah.
Like if you imagine kind of rotating this board a bit, the right-hand objective would actually be off the edge of the board. So you can have like a good maybe 6 foot between the objectives on boards of this size, especially when the objectives are tucked against corners like this. So once again, especially in progressive, this massively is massively advantageous to things like Scout.
Yeah.
Right? Things that get to choose where they are after the game has started, because if you have a non-Scout army and you deploy some things on the left and some things on the right to try and control the whole board, they can see what they need to put down and they can kill something, and then you might not ever be able to get back to that objective in time because it's so far away.
Very, very.
Even the middle of the board here is really far apart already, right? Like there must be a foot at least between those 2 middle objectives.
Yeah.
And that's quite a lot of distance between objectives, because normally people tend to put them quite close together. So it's hard to control those 2 spaces. And then also it's especially hard to get onto the flank here. So yeah, I'd be surprised if we didn't see some very effective Scout stuff here.
I'm immediately thinking the Court Henchman ban is quite a good ban, because I'm looking at this and thinking, I want transports, maybe even transport flyers. And 353 Robot Legions took a heavy point staff, including to the night transport. Infected colonies might be juicy here. HDF might be good. Dark Elf Raiders, I think, are still solid.
Orcs, very clearly. Right?
Orcs, of course.
Orcs are just Dark Elf Raiders, but with less. Oh my god, that unit's so unfair.
Exactly. They're just
more,
green.
It's more evenly spread, so people don't complain about them.
Except for specialists. But yeah, we move past that. Cool. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. And again, high activation count, cover lots of ground. And then, so this one, all the maps have undergone drastic changes from the first sketch. And here the first big change ended up being that the actual river of the map has dried up and been replaced with various containers in its area. A lot can be said about the map in general. It's the only progressive scoring map of the tournament. 2 of the objectives are on the edges of the map, surrounded by waters and forests, making reaching them without any movement traits impossible in the first turn. Okay, interesting. That they will be impossible to be reached. So I guess the deployment zone is actually quite far back.
Yeah, it must be.
Okay. 4 objectives. Most interestingly, a lot of players don't usually play progressive or bring a list which can handle the map, causing some very brutal matches. Yes, I could see that for anyone who doesn't do their homework. And then terminal prosecution is this final one. We did end up loading up Tabletop Simulator to have a look at the map, and this is what game number 3 looks like. So this is terminal prosecution. We've got this very interesting corner style deployment. Now it is 24 by 24. Interesting stuff. So we've got a flattened ruin and a bunker. I'm not sure what this will be. Yeah, that's just your deployment side, your deployment zones. So looking at this, what do you get out of the gates? 4 objectives that can be seen. You could put a very nice support style unit in this ruin here and control
for
3
sure.
objectives. Damn.
Yeah, it's very
And
open.
then something with like a speed of transport coming up the side here is what I'm looking at there.
Yeah,
But
it's a little
then
bit reminiscent of the Moon Hop mission from the
it
first
is,
thingy pack. And what I know about that is it's that objective on the left from our perspective right now is really far away.
yeah,
Especially with that like what looks like difficult between it.
yeah,
24 inches is a really, really far distance, or 23 or whatever it is. Yeah, it's really, really far. It's really hard to go that kind of distance across a game without double move, and then maybe even a single move after it. So once again, and especially because of difficult terrain, right? It's going to be like Scout is looking very, very good once again, especially Scout Strider or something like that. If you can move your Scout up and sit in that difficult terrain and basically stop your opponent from taking their home in inverted commas objective, that's pretty good. Though I guess maybe the same is true going right as well.
Yeah,
From
that's
there to
still
there is quite far
20
as well.
inches, right?
But this is end of game scoring.
Yeah.
If this was progressive, then I would be like, oh my lord, Scout is going to be so great here. End of game, it's not so bad. I do think this is maybe a little bit of a sad time for any dwarf.
I was thinking
come along.
dwarves are going to struggle, and elite armies are going to struggle because 5 objectives again.
Yeah.
They're far away. Also, elite armies do very well when you take the center of the board and can strike out from it quite comfortably. You give yourself more options and more coverage. But on this map, you've got these 2 great big bastions, as they're being referred to here. You launch 1 double move straight into the middle of the board with like Custodians or Prime Brothers, or Titan Lords. Oh god, they'd struggle too, because as well, big bases in the flattened ruins. But yeah, you control the center of the board and you don't really have very good ways of going. So again, I'm trying to get my activations up here. I'm thinking 8, 9 plus. Aircraft could be very, very menacing on this board.
I think shooting on this board looks really good, right? Shooting with some kind of swarm that can go and do the double moves. Because you just need like 1 little deleting unit, and they can pretty much cover most of it. Because you could even leave something in your spawn really, and just
exactly,
and hit loads of objectives.
You could you could start out with 1 unit deployed right here, and its first movers, I don't care, like that way or that way, right? Into the middle or up to the top edge of the board. And then if you have a support style unit, they just walk 6 inches up as their first move. And then they've got huge coverage covering off 3 objectives.
What does the hover over on the building say? Does it say can't see through?
Cover and units can see into and out of, but not through.
Okay, so they're just cover. We've seen them on previous maps as well. The little trees, is that difficult though?
Oh, hold on. What did that say? Blocking and passable. I presume these are deadly or dangerous. Sorry,
dangerous.
terrain.
Okay.
Yeah, look at it. It's cactuses. They're going to be an absolute menace if you don't have thick shoes on.
True.
What's the bunker?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you can also play line of sight nonsense with that little ruins, especially with little support stuff. Yeah. So quite a scary shooting map. Still, I think, I mean, any non-traditional deployment zone is always going to favor the Scout. That's just the way the game unfortunately works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think not too many modes here that I think are going to shift us away from what we perceive as the meta. So Scouts and transports, I imagine, were very strong here. Hypermobility, always good.
Hypermobility. So I'm liking Orcs. I'm liking Sisters. I'm liking Dark Elf Raiders. And, do I fancy some Soul Snatcher cults?
I mean, always, but...
I mean, I always like Soul Snatcher
next
cults.
Patch,
but...
I think there's going to be a lot more conversations like that, right? Where we're like, okay, here's 8 different factions that would do well here. I think in this patch, it's not really like that. The game is slightly too polarized in the direction of things with high mobility, high damage, and Scout and stuff. And I think next patch, when all the damage kind of gets flattened off, then we'll see other stuff starting to shine a bit more. But yeah, right now I'm seeing pretty standard meta stuff here, right? Like you take a transport, you ram it over to one of these objectives, and you kill everything over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you continue to do that for the rest of the game. Especially like on this map, you could park a transport sideways across those 2 buildings, and your opponent can't even get to the objective anymore.
Oh, what do you mean, like here?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
that'd be nasty, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Elite armies will struggle with this, I think, as well. Interesting. Very good. So let's go back to our pack, and we can continue thinking about what will be good. So as we covered off there at the end, we think that the meta for this would be pretty similar to exactly what we were doing for UKGE, really, and the tournament pack for this year. I'd like to be bringing 1 to 2 transports, 8 plus activations, A good aircraft might go a long way. I'd expect to see a good Dark Elves list, even with the Court Henchman ban. HTF, Infected Colonies, Orcs, Sisters.
Is this a GDF only tournament?
This is, yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, so I mean, one thing to note obviously is when it's GDF only, actually some of the UKG stuff we do is less relevant because you also have to prep for AOF over there. So I think you're kind of into the GDF meta then, which is slightly more exciting for these maps, I think.
Because I agree, yeah.
I think AOF could just spam and win this tournament if it was available. But yeah, I mean, still pretty standard stuff. Yeah, transport's good, support style unit's good.
Elites,
blood things off the board
sadly
before they can
bad.
engage. Elite's probably bad, yeah. It's just too much width on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Titan Lords are probably like they probably get 5-6 activations, and a clever opponent will kill one side of the board. And
yeah, exactly.
But we'll see. You know, you never know. Titan Lords is one of those factions that just you can't really count them out. You know, there's someone always brings them and does well with them. So
I'd love to see it. Well, let's find out, and let's go into the army list. So, how many army lists have we got?
Three,
go through.
3 and 2 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
13?
Hold on. I can't count. 6. That's 6. 9, 10, 11, 12. And Verl was the reserve player in case of an odd number of players. That's good of them. Just to be ready to not play in their own thing, but also step in if they need to.
I love that. Verl/me.
Verl/me.
Which one is it? Verl, make your mind up.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. Alert activation list made as a reserve list for when there would be an odd player count, which ended up happening as we got 11 players not counting themselves. They created the list with the intention of being quickly playable so they can manage the tournament on the side. Yes. That's very sensible. It's really difficult to run an event and play in it. I just flat out refuse to do it. One of the guys in our circuit, Andy, he's done it himself and says it's impossible. It's really, really hard. So very wise to bring something simple. Let's go.
We when we play get enough rules questions, right, without being in the tournament. Like, I mean, I'm going to the tournament and asking questions all the time, but
yeah,
people are also going to me and being like, hey, what's the rule for this? And I'm like, I'm not really a rules guru as such. There's not many rules in the game, so
yeah.
But yeah.
It's usually about interactions of rules, right? Like if you have this and you have this, how do these two things interact? I mean, I think even at UKG, when I was in the finals, I'm pretty sure someone came up and asked me a rules question, which is a bit like, this is game 5 of a long day and I'm like really locked in right now. I think it's this, but I'm sorry, I don't know. Like, yeah, it happens all the time. Oddly enough, when we run a YouTube channel about the technical aspects of the game, people assume we have technical knowledge.
Yeah. It's kind of wild like that.
How
wrong are they?
Let's have a look. So we have the Triceraton Republic. We're starting
we need the player name as well. So
of course.
Yeah, they're in here, right? So this is Pencho. Okay. I've never heard that name before in a Discord.
No, neither have I. There are some names that I do recognize here. Spaceman Coco.
Steven, obviously.
Hold on. Spaceman Coco's in here twice. That's why I counted too many. So we've got
Cheeky Spaceman Coco. What's he like?
Justin the Friendly I've seen before. Alex Sawyer I've seen before. If this is Stephen, what's his name in Discord?
I think it is, from
who posts his time zone.
Yeah, where is he? Central. He's central, right?
Yeah.
It is him, I think.
So a few people who I've seen before. Let's start off with Pencho's Saurians.
Okay. First, straight away, how many activations we got?
Exactly what I was going to say. Gator Veteran apparently not joined to anything. 2 Chameleons. 2. Boost buffing. Okay.
Yeah.
2 units of Saurian Guardians. Snipers,
5 or
Gators.
6, 7, 8,
5, 6,
9,
7.
10. All right,
there we go.
We are kitted out.
Now,
okay, that's a lot of activations.
It's a lot of activations. 2 scouts with Strider in the form of chameleons. The snipers have also got Strider at 120 points. I'd probably rather they were just objective monkeys. The Spiked Lizard does have Strider as well. Yeah. No fast in the army.
No fast in the army. 2 scout units in terms of the chameleons. Though I will say here, these chameleons are the A1 version, which I'm a huge fan of the A2 version.
Yeah. Aren't they they're effectively shotguns, right?
I don't think they have AP. I think they've got Bane. Or they used to be Bane with no AP, A2. But yeah, I mean, but the nice thing about those is that you kind of push them forwards and they're so cheap and they can do a little bit of damage and they can be kind of annoying. Oh yeah, so
A2AP1.
they are
Yeah.
shotguns. I got
Yeah.
changed. I don't.
No
I
idea.
thought, oh no, is it the fantasy version that has Bane?
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh wait, you're on the fantasy version there, or is it the...
No, that was Starhost.
Oh.
Saurian's Chameleons. In fact, they're just A2, the fancy
Oh,
ones.
okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah. So little shotguns. So I much prefer the shotguns. Shotgun Scout. Obviously, we've said that a million times on the channel. And they also are nice because they're so cheap, and then you punish charges against them and get some value from there. Apart from that, what we're looking at, we've actually got shotgun Saurian Guardians, which we very rarely see. I feel like the A2 is so enticing that most people run the melee. Obviously, we've got a big boy Ankylosaurus. Love to see this. That's there with the Gator Veteran.
This is, that is some giga work right there, the vet buff set. Now, one of the armies I have thought quite a lot about is Saurian Starhost, because I think that this A2 Deadly 6 with some form of exploding mechanics through Primal is really, really strong. Disintegrate as well. If you're pointing this at the right targets, this +2 AP when it's defense 2 or 3, you're nearly always getting that in the right target. So this is in fact A2 AP4, 24 inches is great. The downside is it's qual 4, but you're mitigating that a little bit with the primal boost buff. I think the Ankylosaurus is great.
So the traditional way we see this army is actually with the skink guys on birds, because they have the precision mark.
Pterodactyl riders.
So that's the traditional way we see this being run. It's the hero though, right? Ripjaw dactyls.
Ripjaw dactyls can get precision target, but then yes, you've got the gecko champion who can go on it and get precision target on his Ripjaw dactyl, and it's really cheap.
Yeah, so that is just straight up +1 to hit for the whole game, isn't it? Precision target. So yeah, normally what you'd see maybe 2 of those guys. They can also carry primal boost buff. You can mark up that big target, and then you're hitting on 2s instead with exploding 5s and 6s, which is then extremely potent. Because you might even get like 3 hits with AP4 Deadly 6, which is also
really good. So the Ankylosaurus is good.
Yeah. So this is like a slightly more kind of like well-rounded version of that, because that can get quite expensive. So he's just gone for the one Gator Veteran instead. So then, a lot of actually 12-inch shooting here. So the Gators also have the shotguns. Yeah. So what's that YouTube channel? I can't remember what they're called right now. But they did a Saurian Starhost review, and they said that they often see double stacked units of Gators.
True Sight Gaming.
True Sight Gaming, yeah. They were like, double stacked up Gators with like some sort of buffing in there. It's very, very hard to move, very, very good. Another thing I'm noticing about this list is no protection feat.
No protection feat.
Which, I mean, to me is insane. I don't think I've ever seen a Saurian Starhost list without protection feat. Protection feat is so cheap. Like here, I would have loved to have seen the Gator Veteran swapped out for a gecko.
I'm on
doing the primal boost buff.
Right, okay, yeah. A Gator Veteran swapped out for the gecko is the same cost. What have you got?
No, but not if you don't put on the mount.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say even with the mount, right?
Well, no, I just mean like you swap that out. It does the primal boost building thing. Yes, it's not quite as potent in combat,
but it's 45 points.
But it's 45 points, and then you can fit in some protection feats here, right? Because you can get protection feat for Gator at very least.
This guy's loaded out with 8 shots AP1, which 145 points is kind of cute. I've toyed about with doing this in the demons list, where you can have the 2x4 attacks load out at like the war whips and the war demons, and there's crossbows for the lust guys and things like that. So I don't think it's too bad. What I personally am thinking is I'd rather up the chameleons to A2 and get rid of these snipers. I think it's fine to drop down to 9 activations just to make other things a little bit shinier.
Yeah, and these snipers, these are not the best snipers either.
No.
They're very expensive for their cost. 120 points is a lot for a sniper style unit. Especially when you see like Ratman ones for 200 points, you get 6 attacks AP4.
Yeah.
And I think they have Scout as well. They may even do have Scout. So, and then these very long range, obviously, and AP1, and so they're not amazing, the snipers. But this is a very, very flat list, right? Like there's not a lot of upgrades going on, right? There's not a lot of point expenditure. Most of the things here are under that 200 point mark to try and make the Ankylosaurus and the Spinosaurus affordable within the list.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Spinosaurus, to be honest with you.
No,
It's
I mean,
like,
the Spinosaurus here is actually missing the reason I'd say you'd run it, which is the primal boost buff.
yeah, exactly.
I think the sci-fi version of that has that, right?
We can
But
check.
yeah, because stat and spell casting, but I don't think they get spell casting in this. Yeah, it's a primal boost
Yeah.
buff. So yeah, I was surprised to not see that being used and then the hero being brought. So I think there's a
And
couple of
also,
places where this list could maybe be optimized a bit more.
yeah, I agree. But
Oh,
10 activations, some good things. Yeah, this guy hasn't got reliable as well. Blast 3,
I know
indirect.
you're always full. But this interesting enough Bane Mark there, which obviously works for the Ankylosaurus to really, really kill things. Because you get that AP4 Bane combo, which is very, very fun.
Very strong. Interesting. So there are ways that we would change this list, but 10 activations is going to be good. You've got some really good things to punish high toughness creatures. Also, 10 activations means you can really stall out deployment to get the Ankylosaurus in the right place. Chameleons are quite good just because of scout on these very big boards. The Guardians, the Gators, and the Gator Veteran have got a lot of lifting to do.
Yeah, this is there's not a lot of AP in this list. It's not a lot of punch in this list either, right? Because of spending so many points on the big boys, and the big boys aren't that aggressive. So everything else is relatively low. We've got lots of A1, some A2, AP1 or whatever, but mostly this is a very, very low punch list.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's low AP on as well. So I think that this is going to struggle against even just like your standard Battle Brother style thing. Like I'm looking at this and going like, okay, well, if the Ankylosaurus does Ankylosaurus things and just rolls 2 3s, then you actually have no way of dealing with stuff, right? Like the Ankylosaurus are so good at killing big things if it can be made reliable, right? And if it's not reliable enough,
right?
Yeah, so like even into Titan Lords, this list is going to struggle because yes, your Ankylosaurus is going to delete 1 Titan Lord a turn if you're lucky, but the rest of the list can't touch a Titan Lord list. So I think this is an interesting take on Saurian. I'd like to see more points spent on some more units to make them more effective before we went as wide as we did.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall, I think
9 activations is fine, right? 10 is good. 9 is still fine if it means that you can have a bit more of an impact with those 9.
I think for me, I'd see the Gator drop down to a Gecko and maybe get rid of the Gecko snipers, and then that would give you a bunch more points to spend in certain places.
I agree.
But this is the kind of list that maybe you come against someone who just can't deal with 12-inch shooting, and you just win off that, right? There's a lot of blast going on this list. There's a lot of 12-inch shooting. So if there's anything in this list that is like high elf fleets might get rolled by this list.
High elf fleets and dwarf guilds are here. So, but even dwarf guilds could probably just weather the storm.
Goblin Reclaimers might struggle a little bit. Maybe even Blessed Sisters. Because none of these are super high defense, right? So it doesn't play into the weakness of this list.
I reckon Blessed Sisters blow this up. If it's
it depends on how it's built, but yeah,
we'll see.
If it's the Blessed Sister list, then yeah, this sounds basically no chance of it.
Let's move on to number 2, which is maybe Max's Ratmen Clans. Ratmen Clans, super strong. I don't know how we didn't mention them actually earlier on. Let's go through these. I'm immediately seeing only 1 Great Death Wheel, but 1 is good, 2 is better.
3 is best.
3 is probably best. 2 units of Stalkers here. These are some pretty effective chaff. A1, AP1 Surge with reinforcement is very good. These guys are furious. So a 6 on the charge.
How much is the A2 upgrade on this? I don't think it's very much. It's only 10 points.
I would have to remind myself. Let's go and have a look.
I seem to remember it was quite cheap.
See, I think, it's 5 points for all of them. But AP1 Surge versus A2 AP nothing. Like, with Furious on the charge, so Furious on the charge with this is 10 hits AP nothing. Furious on the charge with these guys is 6-ish hits AP1.
Yeah.
5s, 4, 3s, bit more than 50%. 6 or 7 hits AP1. So 10 hits AP nothing or 6 or 7 hits AP1 on the charge with your Stalkers. I don't hate it. I think.
No, I think for 5 points, I'd take the 50% more damage though, or 50% more hits, whatever. I just think like having it's that thing as well, right? So like once 5 Stalkers are dead, they can only ever do 5 hits. whereas the other ones could do 10 hits, right? And it keeps you in the game in that sense.
That little bit longer. I see what you mean.
But these are just as cheap as you get, just with reinforcement on them for chaff. So, I mean, fine, whatever. 5 points is not going to make a difference.
Reinforcement also incredibly good on these huge maps, right? You just yeet these guys into a corner, and either they control or annoy the objective, or they get wiped out, they fail a morale check, and they come back on the other side of the board. Really, really helpful.
Yeah, especially good for the one progressive map, which is really wide as well, right? So you can just double move these guys up and then yeet them to the side of the board, like you say. Like if the one progressive game mode was a bit skinnier, then maybe they wouldn't have as much use. But the fact that the progressive one is the one with the advantage is great.
They're so good. We have a unit of shotgun scouts. We have the infiltrators.
Fan favorite.
Exactly. This is such a good unit as well. They're qual 4, def 5, so they're really well costed. They've got the evasive aura, which is maximized because it's a doubled up unit, up to 10 models. Just, you go first with these, you scout them into the right position. Oh, they've got stealth as well, so it's -2 to hit when being shot at.
Yeah.
They've got Strider for double move shenanigans if needed. Just a great unit. It is 330 points though, so you know, it does fold when charged, but you play correctly with these infiltrators and they will feel excellent. And when you can't get 2 double units, you take 1.5. We've got another one here. But these ones are carbines.
So 4,
1, 2, 3,
5,
4,
6,
5,
7, 8, 9.
8, 9. Reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, pretty good, I think.
I don't know if the maps were released for this tournament beforehand. Or if they were released after the lists came in. I presume maybe beforehand, because it's kind of harder to police people handing in lists over the internet.
Yeah. Okay, well, interesting we've seen that. I'd presume that they were, and people are going for more activations, more goodera. Infiltrator's good. These are carbines, so no AP on them, but I think that's fine. A bit more range, good on the map. Clan Handler attached to Elite Ops. So the Elite Ops is a doubled up unit again, 10 of them with shotguns, 12-inch, A2, AP1. Does this person also watch our content? And then we've got Ambush Aura. So the ability for these guys to deploy in ambush and have the jump into round 2. Interesting to have emphasis on an ambush aura. I suppose 2 rounds are end of game scoring, but with 9 activations, are you guaranteed to get the first activation into round 2? It could be tricky.
So to be honest, with shotguns, you can deploy 18 inches away, right? So they're a little bit safer. One thing I will note as well, we talked about the Stalker thing, the A2. It's a small thing, but having them A2 instead of AP1 and Surge lets them play off the Great Death Wheel a bit better as well. Because A2, AP1 is way better than A1, AP2.
So very true.
That is one. I mean, obviously, there's not enough points here, but we're about to get into the juice of the list, though.
We'll get into the juice and see where it goes. So we'll start with these 2 units of Mecha Beast Riders. I'm a fan of these excellent units. 120 points. So your fast, scurry Strider. So you're already moving 18 inches with Strider. You are qual 5, def 5, but you've got 2 attacks with each of your Lancers. AP1 and Thrust. So you are hitting on 4s on the charge with AP2, which is excellent. And then Ravage, just for a little bit extra. At 120 points, these guys are cracking. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah, very good at dealing with swarms.
Very
fast
good.
And Scurry and Strider is a ridiculous amount of mobility, so you can play very cleverly with these guys to keep them out of danger. And yeah, most things don't like taking 5 hits with AP2. With potentially 1 auto wound from Ravage, so very, very cost-effective unit. But once again, they are only 120 points, so if you ever played this unit, you'll often find that they will just die, because 5 wounds is not a lot with def 5. But the value you get is sometimes from them dying.
Exactly. If someone spends an activation that is way overpointed for it, you're doing well. And then a big double stack of Ratto get agents, 420 points here.
It's a lot. That is a lot.
It is a lot, but they each come with 4 attacks AP4. So when you're swinging in with 20 attacks AP4, when you get your 14-inch Furious charge off, you are hitting on average 12 or 13 hits with AP4. That's going to blow things up.
Yeah, so if this can get into my range, then yes, it's going to kill things. That's obvious. It's got a lot of AP4 in it. It's unsupported, and the only thing that could have happened here is that Clan Handler could be moved into the Rattoga agents, depending on the matchup.
Yeah.
Because Hero doesn't say you need to do it at the time of building a list. It does it when you deploy, I think. It's just an Army Forge, just like convenience that it does it this way for you. So maybe the person did take the Clan Handler and put them in the Rattoga agents, depending on the matchup. You can imagine heavy shooting, like against Dow and stuff like that. that you might do that. But yeah, it's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
And it's a lot of points that at Def 4 can disappear very, very quickly.
It can. You know what's really good against this big fat unit of big guys is a lot of 12-inch A2 AP1 shooting. Like just pumping. I don't know. You do need a lot to have a big dent. It is still, 18 wounds of toughness. But it can fold quite quickly to a Dow list, for example.
Oh yeah, that unit's gone.
Yeah, exactly. So high risk, high reward, and then the Great Death Wheel, one of the best effing units in the game. I told you about the huge spanner I had at UKG, not realizing that the fantasy Ratmen had Fearless on theirs.
Yeah,
it's because the Grimdark Future one doesn't have Fearless. There's another difference between the
Quality 5 as well.
And also, Qual 5. The fantasy is Qual 5 Def 3. This one's Qual 4 Def 2. But
which comes out to the same statistic, I think, does it?
Don't know. Still excellent. 8 hits, AP1.
Fantasy's better.
Fantasy is better, I think, because you've got heavy impact being reliable.
Yeah.
So
either way, So this is.
Oh, you mean? Sorry, I'm catching up with you now in terms of morale.
Yeah, in terms of morale, because the fantasy one's like a 3-up morale. This is a 4-up morale.
Yeah. But the Great Death Wheel is huge. It is such a good piece.
Yeah, for sure.
This is
Def 2 instead of Def 3.
Yeah, I'm already seeing like this list is one of the strongest. Definitely that we've seen so far, obviously, because we've looked at two. So I'd say this is the strongest list we've seen so far, obviously. Let's go on and see what else we've got. Next up, we have got Squiglet's Blood Brothers. Now, I do think Blood Brothers have some legs. I do think it's an all right army. I just don't think it's quite in the top reaches. Let's have a look at what Squiglet has brought. Bloodmaster Brother with Rapid Rush Aura. Interesting. Okay. An 18-inch move. It's a thing. Attached to a unit of Bastard Brothers. We've got A1 AP4 plasma rifle buried in here. I'm not a fan of this. Let's keep going through the list. 2 units of Bastard Brothers with A1 AP1 on their heavy rifles and a flamer in each one. We've got another Bloodmaster Brother with Blood Death Brothers. These guys are ambushing in. We've got Versatile Reach to give them an extra bit of charge range, Bane and Melee Aura. So when they get in there with their 20 attacks with Bloodborne and Ambush and a big charge, they'll be doing quite a nice little hit with a Bane and Melee, but we're lacking AP here, like 1 AP4 shot isn't really enough. Let's keep going. Support Brothers, A1, AP2, Deadly, 3 Unstoppable on 3 of them. Again, we're getting towards something here. When these guys hit on 6s, they do very well, but AP2 isn't huge in Grimdark Future. Blood Destroyers, again, very little AP, but a good ambushing unit. And a Blood Combat Walker, loaded out with a super heavy fusion rifle. Not the loadout I'd take. A single Walker Fist, so this thing's not great in combat and not great at shooting. Unfortunately, I'm afraid, Squiglet, this is quite low down on my list as we go through the analysis. How many activations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
So things I will say, that Blood Combat Walker, despite it being kind of like a weird hybrid thing, is really annoying. It does the range thing, 'cause it's got 9 wounds in range, and it's got 8 wounds in melee. With Bloodborne, obviously, you get more on top of that. It's got regen, def 2, quality 3, fearless. That's quite hard to move. So at the very least, it walks up the board and does stuff and probably takes space, and it's kind of annoying to delete. The Blood Death Warriors, the Blood Death Brothers even, sorry, annoying thing about those guys, they can't take special weapons. I think they just have like 1 upgrade on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's a lot of points to spend on a Bane or for someone that doesn't have AP, but I don't think that's an option. But I do think it could have been. I know, maybe they do.
Replace.
Okay, so they can replace all of them. I take it back. So that could have been,
but
much,
it's 5
higher AP
points per model, 10 points per model.
I mean, it's still worth to bury some energy for that unit. Yeah, absolutely.
To get 2 in there would be all right. Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, I feel like these guys used to have like basically no options. Maybe they've been changed. Either way, I think probably should have spent some of the points there. I think the normal brothers who are just like A1, AP1. They're cheap, right? So it's not the end of the world. I think not having A2 is a bit rough. I don't think Rapid Rush Aura is worth having, as you mentioned. I'd rather take, like, what's that, 95 points? That could have been, 4 Power Fists for the Blood Death Brothers, and then still another 55 points to spend on whatever you want. So I think that's probably a better choice there. The Support Brothers with the missile launchers, I don't actually hate the missile launchers. They're okay, right? But, like, it's not so bad at dealing with Tough 6, because it's 3 hits and then it's 50-50s and it can shake things, and it's not the end of the world. The range on it as well is kind of annoying, but it does mean that the range is being used because these maps are quite big. So I'm sure they probably got some decent usage out of them. But yeah, overall, this is not the kind of like focused list that we necessarily would normally suggest people build. It's a little bit all over the shop, and some of the units aren't quite kitted out. Like they're not putting enough like points into the right units and putting some points somewhere which maybe aren't the best.
There's a lot of lifting to be done by the 2 ambushing units, I think.
Yeah, but
how does this deal with game 3?
I mean, it walks very slowly at the board and loses probably, but I think against the 2 lists we've seen so far, I'm not sure how this deals with the rat list as much. It depends how much the rats threw away their rat agents, I guess, because the rest of the rat list can't do too much about the high defense. And then the Saurian list, the 12-inch shooting isn't amazing against this list, but this doesn't have a lot of punch back.
So, what I would foresee this against the rats, for example, is the rats scout up with control on the board that this army can't hit back into, and its scouts manage to do a decent dent in round 1 when it's playing probably 1,600 points. Sorry, 400 points ahead because there's 600 points in ambush. Wipe out 1 or 2 of these side units and then just activation control the game. Like that's how I'd imagine that matchup goes.
Yeah.
Regen on the Combat Walker does offset the Spinosaur.
No, it doesn't, because regeneration, Disintegrate gets rid of regen.
Oh, damn. Okay,
That thing could get one shot. But I think overall, this is a relatively weak list, but because it's OPR, could have gone 3-0.
Yeah. Let's keep on moving. Next up, we've got Spaceman Coco's High Elf Fleets.
All right.
High Elf Fleets are such a knife-edge army, I think, on analysis. I've immediately seen Elemental Protectors at the top, so I'm feeling a bit more positive. Let's go through. First up, count the activations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're in the happy-ish territory. 2 units of strikers. These shred pistols suck, but they've close combat weapons for A2 in combat. They are very cheap. For a scouting highborn unit, 14-inch move with scout, 105 points for 4/5s of A2. I don't hate them.
No, little objective taker. I mean, it's about as good as it gets in terms of high elf for cheap and taking objective. Everything else is so expensive.
It is so expensive.
So yeah, not bad.
2 units of stingers. These are some more scouting units. So they've got shard pistols, A1 crack, but these are melee again. So stinger blades, A2 Bane reliable, so they're hitting on 2s, and a silver dagger with blast 3. Sorry, a stinger dagger. Don't know why I read silver there. I should put my glasses on, he says with his glasses on. Scouting 200-point units, but again, we're not doing great on AP, are we?
No, it's a high elf unit, really, isn't it? 200 points for 5 dudes. It's very expensive.
4 dudes. It's very expensive.
Not many things that this unit can actually charge. It's one of those weird units where it's like, I don't really want to spend 400 points on it, but at 200 points, I'd probably lose on the crackback. Because even if I charge my ideal target, 3 of them might live, and they might just straight up kill you on the way back, and then you've lost a lot of points. So hard to get value out of this. They may win a charge, but it's hard to get consistent value out of this, especially if there's opponents got like split firing and stuff. This stuff can fold pretty quick.
Yeah. The Elven Noble has got Highborn, Boost Aura, and a Stealth Aura, which is pretty cute. 145 points for this guy, though. We have 3 shots AP4, which can help, and it's got the Fearless upgrade so that it can join the Elemental Protectors. I think, if I recall correctly, this Retributor leader buff is brand new in 353.
Yeah, I think so.
Which means that, hallelujah, Elemental Protectors can have a leader. And we love the Elemental Protectors. We've got the Wraith Cannons here, A3, AP4. It's a good dent of AP in the army on a core 3 unit with Highborn, with Relentless. It is 270 points for the unit, but it does bits.
Yeah.
Happy to see that. And do you know what's good? when you do it again, but in a different way this time. We've got another highborn boost aura. So these guys are also, they're moving 10 inches, which is very, very good when you've got 12-inch guns. And the next one,
Relentless as well.
With Relentless as well. And the next one has got the A1 AP2 Blast 3. Really good. This is another army I think would actually just melt that Blood Brothers army.
Yeah, for sure.
Relentless plus A2 Blast 3. This guy is doing what I want to do. This is Spaceman Coco. Spaceman Coco is doing what I want to do when I play high elf fleets. Bring the protectors and have a great time. Again, a lot of heavy lifting to be done here. And third up, we have another noble attached to Elemental Strikers. Yes, the Elementals. A3, AP4 and shielded. So these guys are def 2. More AP4. We've got Shred and Melee Aura. So these guys are net AP5 for anyone who subscribes to that analysis of Shred. This guy's got a little pip of Deadly in it. And we don't have Highborn Boost Aura, but we're still moving 14 inches when charging. Again, really happy to see it. And a Combat Walker, A2, AP3, Deadly 3. There's our deadly, a bit more deadly, I should say, in the list. Yeah. Is there too much AP4 here?
No, maybe for your tastes, but I don't think so. No, the higher problem is always, how do I live on the board? How do I make it to round 4 to contest the objectives? And I need to kill my opponent before then. Most of the time is the answer to that question. Things need to be dead, so my guys aren't getting hit, because if they get hit, they'll fold. So really, people just bring elementals to deal with that, because elementals are your only durable thing in the list. Yeah. So I think spending most of your points here on elementals and combat walkers makes a lot of sense, with some cheap and cheery guys that, that block of 4 units could all just scout up one flank, and maybe they'll have enough firepower to do something. The thing I worry about here is it's a relatively low mobility list. I know we've got a load of highborn boosting stuff going on, but because it's shootings, half of it, 10-inch movement is great because you can threaten things really far away, but you're also not necessarily moving faster than a melee army who might be moving 16 inches, right?
I think you're moving pretty damn fast. You're moving as close to it whilst being a shooting army as you can.
Oh, no, it's fast for a shooting army, but look at this list. Transports are way, way faster than this, right? And they get right on top of your ass, and they can blow up your stuff. So I'm not entirely. I think this is still too fragile. I think investing in the elemental strikers is probably a mistake. I think they need to be your front line. You need to just take them as cheap as they get. So maybe even just 275 points for them, and just go I move them up the board. If my opponent shoots them, sound. Bring a handful of those guys, and then bring some of the more hard-hitting high elf units to then support those guys. They don't even need the AP4 either. But stuff like, we're not seeing any shifters in this list. Yeah. But shifters are really, really good, right? Teleport lets them kind of appear out of nowhere, stay safe when they ambush in, and then they get 12 shots AP4, which kills a lot of stuff. 8 hits AP4 basically wipes out most units, as it does. I don't hate this list. I think it's fine. I think
I like it a bit more than you, but I do know what you mean about the fragility thing, and these scouts could just not secure a flank, right?
I like the name.
Craftworld Ponzi Pose. I missed that entirely. All right. I am putting this second on the list so far. I think Ratman is better than it, but I think it is still up there.
Nothing in this so far has wowed me. I've not seen a list that's gone this is definitely going to win. The last time we did a review, we were like, okay, this Alien Hives list is taking the game. Yeah. I've not seen anything like that yet. So I think all this stuff is all relatively close to each other. I think probably Blood Bros is the weakest. And I think right now I'm probably looking at Ratman as the strongest. Yeah. But not by massive margins.
Next up, we've got Steven with some more Ratman clans.
Oh yeah.
Let's go and have a look at that. Okay, so Steven's Rats. Steven's 2,000 points of Ratman clans. I'm seeing lots of activations here. Similar levels of conversation to be had, I think. So we have a unit of Stalkers. Woof. These guys are kitted out with A2, AP4. We have 2 of them in the unit. So again, very nice to see those buried. The rest are Electro Whips. So again, again here, we've not got the A2 army, unit wide, but having 4 AP4 attacks cheekily in there is very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes you'll just roll 2 Furious hits with those, right? And 4 AP4 hits is a lot of damage. So
it is.
Yeah, really, really like buried weapons like this. It's great start.
Operators as well. I do quite like the operators in this list. We have shred rifles on them, so A2 rending. I'm not sure if that's really worth the points on it because the rest of it is still A2, and I don't think the rending tips over too much more. But I don't hate it. It's just nice having 20 shots coming out of a unit, really, for 170 points.
Rending's really hard to evaluate, right? Because sometimes you just don't roll any rending with it, right? And then it's might as well have been AP0 because the ignore regen thing doesn't matter too much.
Exactly.
But I do think oftentimes rending does tend to perform pretty well for its costs. It did take a cost nerf probably a year ago or something like that, which makes it less auto pick. But I don't hate it, especially if this is leftover points at the end.
Yeah,
which I guess we'll see as it goes on.
And just scanning over the rest of the list, I think it's pretty well stacked out, so it's nice to see. Now, a unit of saboteurs is interesting. I do not like bringing this unit, but 130 points for 5 guys, each wielding 2 shots with AP1. You got reinforcement in there. They ignore the movement penalties from indirect, so they can just yeet things over a hedge, but they are still core 5. I don't hate them.
It's not a lot of AP1 hits, is it really? You land a third of them, that's 3.3 AP1 hits. I think oftentimes they'll underperform and they don't quite fall like this. I think we saw, was it maybe the same price? This could have been guys mounted mecha riders.
Yeah, it could have been.
Which I think in general just outperformed against this unit. I have a lot more use, so.
Yeah, not my favorite, but I do like it.
Does have reinforcement though.
Yeah, it does have reinforcement.
Maybe this is a bit of a reinforcement spam thing. Which it doesn't really change my opinion, I don't think. Because I think they come down and die again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not too much to turn around and bat them away. Yeah. Next, we've got Clan Handler Precise, which has got, oddly enough, the Precision Shooter Aura. 3 shots AP1, AP nothing, on him, but he is leading a unit of weapon experts. Now, it's good to have the Precision Shooter Aura on these guys. So they are Core 4 with Relentless, so they're shooting at Core 3 because of the Aura. Really good. And they've got Blast, 3, and Hazardous. Hazardous, the most broken rule in the game, I think.
Yeah, especially on
that's too hard to
like this, right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
We're rolling three dice. Oh no, we rolled 2 1s. Oh well, it doesn't affect anything.
It doesn't affect a unit. And then if you get a single 6 in there with Relentless, it's like, whoopsie, this one shot is 6 hits AP4.
Yeah. This single unit is doing extremely well into every single list we've seen so far. It's doing well into the high elves. It's doing well into the Ratmen. Maybe is the only one it's not really doing well into. But
it's got the unit of Rat Ogres in other Ratmen.
That's true. Actually, it does great into that. So yeah, unless old Stephen rolled really poorly, I think this is probably already the MVP unit.
Yeah. And you know what's really good when you have one MVP unit?
It's so nice. Let's do it twice.
Let's do it twice. This is the Harvey school of thought, right?
Let's have 2 fun. What's the caster 2 offering us here? Is it Scurry boost? Oh, -1 defense as well.
So you have got this, but on a caster 2, it's still on a 4-up. But it's kind of cute. Scurry boost, I think, is also quite nice. It's that highborn boost, right? So rather than having it guaranteed all the time, you get to pick a unit and get it on a 3-up.
Also, that offensive list is really not bad for a level 2 one, right? 2 hits AP1 in shred. Yeah, it's good, and 6 hits.
Rats.
There's a reason list. It's actually wild. The list is so wild, isn't it? We've got regen and Hazardous at the top.
The only problem with the regen spell, right, is that it's a level 3 one. So sometimes it's more than you can actually get out.
Yeah.
But I don't care because all other 5 spells are the best in slot. And you know what? To have regen on 3 units in a quite low defense army typically, Rats are just fantastic. They really are.
I mean, I always think with Rats, you just bring 3 casters naked.
Yeah.
Like you just have them on the board. They'll do enough.
Just 6 hits AP4 on this thing is insane. So good to see. I think it's really good.
Also,
really good pairing.
Just scanning through this list, what I love is basically like there's one of every unit apart from the weapon experts, right? There's like 1 stalker, 1 operator, 1 saboteur, 1 rat agents, 1 giant rat, 1 great death wheel, 1 burrow tank. And then he was like, you know what? These weapon experts seem pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to take 2 of them.
This is list building at some of its finest. So I think I'm with you that this is probably top of the list right now. This is my favorite list so far. Another handler with caster 3. Here we go. So we have caster 5 overall. That is just beautiful to see.
And that's in the burrower tank as well. Almost
and I'm going to say, right, so we've got the Rat Ogre agents and we've got this burrower tank here. Tough 9, Ambush. That Tough 9, people disliked it, I think, when it happened. I think it's fantastic for the points reduction that you get whilst maintaining Transport 11 on a Def 2 unit. You've still got 8 attacks AP4 coming out of this thing. Phenomenal to have. This thing comes out, picks a higher armor target and destroys it, because either you're throwing out 6 hits AP4 or 6 hits AP4 from your average from your 12 attacks. But you've got Furious, so sometimes it's a bit or a lot more. Incredible. Downside to the Great Death Wheel in this list is he didn't have enough points, that 35-point upgrade for defense debuff, which I get.
You definitely find some space. I mean, the Saboteurs, the Rending Rifles, stuff like that.
But still, this is looking like a great list. 10 models, so a doubled up unit of giant rats. Sorry, I'm pretty sure that is doubled up. Actually, they don't come as. Yeah, it is doubled.
Actually, maybe they're so cheap. Maybe I'm pretty sure that's doubled up. I don't think you
giant
get 20.
Rats, it's not doubled up. No.
Oh my god, you can get 20 giant rats.
You get 20. But again, Vanguard, fast, scurry, Strider. So that whole thing we were talking about previously is with these guys in abundance. With Vanguard, you get to put them up 9 inches. They control a huge space. Unpredictable Fighter is kind of cute on them. Not my favorite, but still a great unit at 125 points.
The great use of this unit as well is because it has Vanguard, it's not Scout, but what it can do is you can just block off whole objectives because you've got 10 models. So that one unit that maybe they could make it the objective with now has to get through the giant rats first, which on the progressive game mode could be huge, right? That could be 1-2 points or whatever, just off the back of having this 125-point unit.
Yeah.
Very
good. Great Death Wheel, excellent. Burrower Tank, excellent. Nicely comboed, very cute, very classic with the Rat Ogre agents. This is my top list. There are tweaks that we'd make. The Saboteurs are the weakest unit in here. Maybe wouldn't have taken the Unpredictable Fighter on the giant rats. Might have tried to find a way of scraping all of those into a defense debuff on the Great Death Wheel.
Yeah, I think things where this might struggle. If Stephen deployed things in ambush on the progressive game, then that might have been a bit of an issue because obviously the Burrower Tank needs to just be deployed normally there and just run out the board with its 14-inch movement. Apart from that, this is quite prone to being charged. So if good measuring was not happening, like there's a lot of shooting, right? So a lot of the time these guys will just fold when things charge them. So you have to play really, really well as well with that as well. If you're letting charges happen, they're going to struggle a little bit if you're not having counter charges set up. But that's the other thing. There's not many counter charges in this list, right? So you've got your Rat Ogre agents who are probably ambushing with the Burrower Tank and doing their bits. So they're not going to be counter charging. And the Great Death Wheel is counter charging, but it's not, without that defense debuff, it's not that potent. With defense debuff, then that's a really significant counter charge. But the rest of the list doesn't counter charge. So there's a chance that maybe we'll see a melee stuff in list that would just destroy this list.
I don't know how well it would do, but I think regardless of the specific counter, if you consider the level of technical analysis gone into on the weaknesses of this and where the weaknesses are, it's quite a technical detail because naturally this list is very strong.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of tools for a lot of jobs, and I think I would like to make sure that we can see. Well, I would like to see Stephen at the top of the boards. I think this list has
anyway, regardless of his list,
regardless, he's a lovely chap.
I think bin off the Saboteurs, get some better upgrades. It's probably the way to go. Maybe another hero.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, that was right. Maybe just the naked hero, right? Bin the Saboteurs, get defense debuff, naked caster hero. We're flying.
Defense debuff, for sure. Cool.
Good list there, Stephen. Next up, we have got Kim 10,000's Human Defense Force. It is over 9,000. Let's see if the list matches the power level. We have a tank company leader. Here we go. Quite an interesting one with every gun available to it. This thing being pushed up to tough 15 might have made it too expensive in recent times.
It also lost precision shooter buff as well now, right?
You still get it elsewhere in the army, which like with company leader here doing it. So you can still get it, but
used to be its own little raid boss.
It used to be its own little raid boss, didn't it? Rapid advance buff, I think, is still very nice, right? Especially on a fast shooty unit. This thing can just zoom around the board.
Yeah.
12-inch move and shoot is pretty nice. It's got, what have we got here? We have an AP3 Deadly 3, 2 AP4 Deadly 3s, and the Hunter Missile Limited for AP2 Deadly 3, so it's a bit of a tank killer. And then a blast shot as well. You can split fire. It's going to be effective. It's got stealth to hold off against being shot at too much. Strider, so whilst moving 12 inches, it can ignore some terrain, which is very good. It's just very expensive. Goes up against that Ankylosaurus and the Saurians and this tank company leader. Stealth is doing a lot of lifting there, though, to be fair.
Also, just quality 4, right? So quality 4 on that shooting makes all the shooting significantly less good.
Yeah.
The fact that it's all like deadly means you can really, really low roll, which I imagine probably happened in one of the games.
At least one, yeah.
I'm not a massive fan of the tank company leader. I think high elves. I think about high elves all the time. But apart from that, I think human defense force can get their punch from elsewhere, and I don't think you need a big scary leader like this to really bring that out. I think just like the normal tanks might be even better than him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not inclined to disagree with that. I think
600 points is just a lot, isn't
it's
it? Right?
a
And
lot
like you
of
say,
points.
like if an Ankylosaurus is you, which actually I guess it can't do. It would need to roll primal to also get the 3 extra wounds.
Yeah.
But still, like, yeah, even if it just gets shaken turn 1 with that 1 in 3, that's rough.
Let's go on to the rest of the list. We've got a Storm Leader with Ambush and Caster 2. Naked on the list. It can, of course, join into deployment.
Hell yeah.
But we love a naked caster ambushing hero as well, because it can come in with 4 tokens. What can we do then?
I don't think the list is very good.
No, it's not great.
It's Ratman, but worse.
Enemy model. Yeah, it looks Ratman, but worse.
It looks Ratman, but worse.
Zooming.
Yeah, not amazing
hits.
spells. 6 hits is okay to come down with, but more importantly, this is a Strider ambush hero. So he's got a very clear goal. It's pop down. Hopefully, deal with some swarms or something like that with this 1 spell casting, and then just be a little bit of an annoyance.
Yeah. Still good to see. A company leader with precision shooter buff on a scout stealthing. Pardon? Not attached to anything. Okay.
No.
So we have a delayed deployment buff soul hero. It's not quite naked, but it has, again, a purpose. 3 shots at 9 inches. With rending, you can dink something and force a morale check, I suppose. Annoying. A very annoying little dude.
This feels strangely out of place.
It does.
Like,
if you're
doing like scout leader stuff, then that's useful if you've got more scout to like delay your scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you've got a reason to be forwards, right? Now, obviously, we do have a light gunship in this list, which can carry things forwards, but you don't need, like, you're never going to, the gunship's not going to use itself forwards and then this guy buffs something, right? So it's never going to be able to buff the thing that's in the gunship. You'll only ever be able to buff stuff behind it, because anything that's come out of the gunship is probably dying on the next activation.
Yeah.
So this feels like a weird one to me, and 2 sets of shooting buffs as well.
This list feels quite disconnected.
Yeah, it does. It feels like there's lots of kind of like interesting units, but none of them play together very well.
Yeah, or it's quite tenuous seeing them play together.
Yeah. Either way, so from there, 5 veterans on their own. I presume these guys go with the sappers in the light gunship.
Yes, I agree.
So they're not completely floating. That's fine. I think I prefer the bikes, but I mean, it doesn't really make much of a difference, right? It's a cheap unit that you kind of throw into stuff, and it does something. The sappers not having flamethrowers is the biggest offense. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Not only are they more expensive, no, actually, are they more expensive? Like, they're not.
I think so.
I think they're now the default on the grenade launchers. But they're not. I think they're 95 points with flamethrowers. Is that right?
Yeah, 70 points with grenade launchers, 85 points for a unit all with flamers.
Okay, so 190 for the whole gang. So it would be a lot more expensive for the flamethrowers, but they are many times more effective.
So much
with
better.
the flamethrowers. Like that on average hits 2 blast shots. The flamethrowers on average, well, I guess 3 with Relentless. That on average hits 3 shots. On the blast ones hit 6, right? So it's twice as many hits, and you have a light gunship to carry them around, right? So they can apply that force wherever they want, so they don't need 24 inches.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter too much.
So I think these guys maybe should have more points spent on them, maybe less points on the tank company leader.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a drawback. And
so then outside this, Combat Walker is just like always good, right?
It's good, right? But considering that it's that disconnect point of you've got these precision shooter buffs on these 90-point units. There's Caster 2 guy who might be annoying, but doesn't really swing with the rest of the list. One of the great things about HDF is when you put all of the pieces together, it can quite often, it's that classic, comes out as more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
I don't see this army coming out as more than the sum of its parts. This Combat Walker is great. I love the Combat Walker. You know, it comes in 16 attacks, AP1, quite reliable on it. It's got Furious, but it is only Core 4 Furious, and we haven't got any way of really making it great.
I don't think we've got that anymore anyway, right? I don't think there's a way of buffing them. Like, they used to have that. They used to have one melee buff and one range buff.
Yes, they did used to, and you don't have it anymore.
Or was it a charge buff or something like that?
But what was it that I wanted you to be able to... But that's it. So you can get AP4 on these guys, which makes them a bit more of a consistent output.
I think for 320 points, it's a solid unit, because not only is it's 320 points for a Def 2 Fear 2 thing, but also because I hold the line, it's actually Qual 3 into Fearless defensively, which is very good.
So
Furious means if you get charged...
Okay.
Yeah, Furious means if you get charged, you can still charge back, and you've still got relatively good effectiveness because your 1 in 6 turns into 2 in 6 in terms of average hits. And then because you've got rending as well, you're also getting rending on anything you hit, and then you've got Fear and Def 2. So for 320 points, it's pretty damn good. It's an absolute chaff blender. So I think that is really, really good. But like you said, I mean, I think it is a unit you just slap into a list. But I guess it feels even more disconnected because the list already feels disconnected.
Yeah.
And then we got Field Artillery, which doesn't really go with anything else we got going on here.
No, it doesn't.
It's the short range one. It's the 24-inch one, so it's quite difficult to put down and have a good use. If you're using a company leader to buff it, you spent 90 points to buff the 140-point unit, which is probably not worth using, right? What you want to do with Precision Shooter buff is find something really big and give it to it. So like the tank company leader, but something maybe cheaper than the tank company leader, because it's using a lot of its points on Tough 15 and Def 2. So it's not very aggressively statted. It's spending a lot of its points on the defensive side. So I can kind of see it's a bit of a pick and mix kind of vibe going on, right? Like, I want some sappers for some blasts, and I want this for deadly or whatever. But I think overall there's a more refined version of this list that is just like, you look at all the units, you go like, I see the role. Whereas this, it feels more like I don't really see how each the piece fits together.
I worry looking at this that I'm having a moment where, do you remember when we played Magic Gathering and you'd look at a list and go, how the hell do all of those components make up anything viable? And then someone just blows you up with it and you're just like, how did you pull that out your ass? We might just be missing something here and not seeing the Matrix, but I'm not seeing the Matrix here.
I think this list extremely struggles with given the game modes as well. 5 objectives absolutely smokes this list because the tank company leader is a lot of your points. The light gunship is not contesting points. The things coming out of the light gunships are not durable enough to contest points. The field artillery is not contesting points. So really, what do you actually have here that can sit on a point and not be moved? Well, it's a tank company leader, hopefully. If it gets charged, it could actually just get shaken. It's the combat walker. And that's it, right? Nothing else in this list stands on a point and says, come fight me.
Yeah.
So I think this list struggles just to have points, and in progressive it might be kind of fine because the 2 big things can take points and keep them and maybe get some points there. But in a longer term game, I think they end up only getting 2 points max, and they can get decapped, and I don't think it quite works out.
This is an army that, playing into it, I'd just be ignoring the combat walker and the tank company leader. Just give the combat walker its space. Let it have it. Just kill everything else. And if I do have the means to, try and dink a shake on the tank company leader, I'll probably punt it at it, but I'm not focusing it. I'm just going to take everything else out and win on board.
Yeah,
it's tricky. I'll be interested to see how Kim's list did.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Vorpal Chainsaw with some Blessed Sisters. Vorpal, have you brought the Sisters list? Let's have a look. I see 2 infernal APCs. Let's get into this one. So, hi, sister. Hello, sister. Hi, sister. Devout Boost Aura Scout Strider on her own. Oh. Okay. On her own, which with the Devout Boost Aura, I would presume is meant to be attached to something. With Scout, do we have any of the Scout sisters here? No.
No, I think that one's chill on its own.
Disintegrate, reliable, takedown. Interesting. Not sure what this High Sister's doing, but there could be an application and deployment that I'm missing. We've got.
I mean, maybe it is as simple as I want to kill enemy heroes, and Disintegrate Reliable Takedown does that. I guess, I mean, that's not bad
With
damage.
Devout Boost Aura.
5s and 6s explode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually hitting on 2s, 3 attacks, hitting on 2s. You're basically hitting 3. Disintegrate gives you some AP, removes regen. It's a super, super expensive sniper unit, but it is just a sniper unit.
It's an
3 attacks versus, you know, if you took a sniper unit, that would have 3 attacks as well, but this has got a bunch of keywords on it. So
yeah,
maybe they hate casters.
Maybe they do hate casters.
Yeah. Get off our YouTube video if you hate casters. Okay. You're watching this, Vorpal. Leave.
Stay. We like you really. Next up, we have the High Sister with Caster 3.
Oh yes, I take it back.
Warrior
love
Sisters.
casters.
Yeah. So the unit of Warrior Sisters, I'm on the fence about, because you can bring Novice Sisters to do the best part about this, which is precision target. But we have got the Buried Storm Rifle for an extra 3 shots AP1. At 160 points, this unit ain't too bad. I don't hate it.
No, sorry. No, it's fine.
Protector Sisters, we've got a banner for Fear 2 and Regeneration Aura, A2, AP1 reliable, rending, shielded. So they're hitting on 2s, they've got defense 3, they've got devout, 215 points for 5 things. 5 wounds is getting a bit on the pricey side for me. The Protector Sisters will still do quite well. They're juiced up Battle Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about these is it's not doubled up. So it's not really taking advantage of regen aura.
Yeah.
And because it's also not doubled up, Fear 2 is a lot harder to use because sometimes you just get wiped. Now they are Def 3, which is good, and they are likely inside an Infernal APC, but I think just a double stack in Infernal APC would do more. I think, unfortunately, Protector Sisters fall in that space where it's like too expensive.
Just too expensive when
they're doubled up, but not good enough singled. So I think they're very, very difficult to find a decent use for. I do like the Procession Swords because I think they're kind of fun hitting on 2s. But yeah, it's a very aggressive unit, but it just doesn't have enough punch in 5 stack, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Assault Sisters, love them. I think that having a unit of these is solid. Ambush, Devout moving from shooting to being on charge as well was really good for them. These Sisters are just a really good unit, but you can also sometimes just not hit enough with them and just not quite kill.
I think, Assault Sisters being melee, I think, I don't know, I prefer the Pistolier Sisters, right? Because I think ambushing down and not taking hits back is better than going in with just 5 guys.
I still think it's a good unit. If someone has, so back to that Blood Brothers, right? You drop in one of these and charge one of those units of 5 Blood Brothers, you're going to do bits.
Sure, but you're killing a 130 point unit with your 175 point unit.
155 point unit. But anyway, you can, over the course of a couple of charges, really put the pressure up. Celestial Warrior Sisters, phenomenal unit here. Precision target on a core 3 unit, A1, AP4, Deadly 3. Love to see this unit in the list. And Support Sisters as well with the Flamers are a similar sort of thing. The Support Sisters have Devout Boost, so these Blast 3 guns do wonders, and you can stick them in Infernal APCs.
I think we said this in the review for Blessed Sisters, but Celestial Warrior Sisters are there for Deadly, and Support Sisters are there for Blast. It's just the way they kind of kit it out. This is a nice setup here. I do think they're maybe not punching hard enough in stacks of 3.
And
I think the Disintegrate Flamers are interesting as well, because are the default heavy Flamers for them? I think it is.
So
Disintegrate's a really interesting thing to put on a Flamer, because the overlap between Def 2, Def 3, and needing Blast is quite small. But there's obviously very obvious examples like
the Blessed Flames 353. These are now the base.
It's like interesting, right? Because it's like, well, against Battle Brothers, I'm sure they'll absolutely shred, right? A2 against their Def 3. But against loads of stuff, you don't get any AP against it. And it's like, well, actually AP1 is so good into Def 4, Def 5. It feels like such a shame. And you're only getting 1 more AP for this condition. And sure, you ignore regen and stuff but most of the things you're shooting Blast into aren't like super regen.
I think it's still absolutely fine. I think it's a great unit. But yes, I agree. I'd like to see them doubled up. They do so well when doubled up. And then the Infernal APCs, I'm imagining, as you say, Protector Sisters in one, the 2 support style units in the other. Shove them up the board and do bits. This Infernal APC is a crime against humanity, though. This one's nearly there as well.
Flamers.
No flamers on an Infernal APC?
What the hell?
No, not allowing that one.
No, that's sacrilege.
And then Assault Walker, one of the best parts about Blessed Sisters is this thing here. 325 points for a Defense 2 Tough 9 regen scout monster that has piercing assault, fearless. It's got the fear 2 on a Tough 9, so it's just really juiced. Beautiful unit. Fantastic. You prefer bringing AP4 on this thing. I say leave that at home. AP1 with piercing assault and rending is absolutely fine.
Well, I think I prefer the other Walker, right? The other Walker gets AP4 and can make use of it because it's got a devout boost.
Yeah.
So I think the one thing that's listed missing is a bit of AP. There's a little bit of AP2 kicking around. Like even like the Disintegrate only goes up to AP2, which is fine. Like the Celestial Warrior Sisters, they're only a stack of 3s. They're not doing that much. I think this list is a little bit fragile.
They are. Yeah, it is quite fragile. You're relying on your punch. The Assault Walker has to do a lot. The Protector Sisters have to do a lot. The Infernal APCs can and will do a lot, but they're qual 4 with no morale mitigation, so they can just get shaken. I think it's good. I don't think it's the top.
Yeah, I think if there were better things in the APCs, it would be the top. But what I will say is I suspect this did very well because of the mobility.
I agree.
Because the boards are so wide, because it's so difficult getting around.
Double transports.
And like the kind of one-sided nature. Because this person could very easily just go like activate High Sister, activate Warrior Sisters, and your opponent's already used 2 activations there. Move your Assault Walker, that's 3 activations, and you can start to get those kind of one-sided exchanges because they're running out of activations.
Or 9 activations. So yeah, it could do very well. I mean, I'll be interested to see where this one comes out.
Yeah.
Next up, what have we got after Wolf Chainsaw? We have Fitz's Goblin Reclaimers. Have you watched his video?
No.
I'm not gonna talk. I'll let you razz through it and then you do your analysis, okay? Because I know how he did.
Well, first of all, it's Fitz, so he probably did really shit.
Grumpy Wolf is coming for you in the comments. He is absolutely out to get you.
Because it's a well-known fact we hate Warboss Fitz around here, apart from Dave. Let's see. What did he do to try and impress us this time? 2 naked ambushing heroes, you little slut. Warboss Fitz. I'm the one who's topless, but you're the slut around here. He's gone Bug Riders. That is kind of wild. So what's it got? We've got a quick shot or all bugs. The bugs have all got flamers, okay? But quick shot aura, that's kind of fun. I think the tanks can do something similar. So we got 2 quick shot aura Bug Riders, more Bug Riders with deadly this time. Is it interesting to see the quick shot auras on the blast ones only?
For those of you listening on Spotify, hello, thank you for listening. I'll run through the list. 2 champs with ambush and flying, 30 points each, so cheap. Then we've got a boss champ riding a combat bug with quick shot aura. So the combat bug as well, all the bugs give them bounding and regeneration. That's the bugs thing in Goblin Reclaimers. This guy has got a carbine for 80 or 18 inches and a flamer mod for a limited blast 3 shot. And then this has got 2 attacks with AP4 and 2 attacks with rending, so a bit hybridy. It's attached to a unit of 6 Bug Riders. The Bug Riders have all got a flamer, and then there are also 3 attacks in combat, and then do it again. I think exactly the same. I'm not seeing any differences between the units. Then a unit of 3 Bug Riders, all with the Smasher Rifles, which are 12-inch A1, AP4, Deadly 3. They've all got good shot off of the trash goggles. So rather than hitting on 5s, they're hitting on 4s. And then 3 big bugs, which are the Tough 6, Qual 5, Def 4 things, all of which have got 2 rocket launchers. So 2 shots, AP2, Deadly 3. Again, trash goggles for good shots, so they're hitting on 4s. Sorry, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, so first of all, this list really hates AP1 rending. It really hates AP1 rending. A charge for an AP1 rending is going to absolutely decimate this. So that's a glaring issue. I think not investing more in the Bug Riders with Deadly is weird because Mischievous is so good with Deadly and AP4. Forcing reroll on 6s when they're already on 6s, it means you basically get guaranteed stuff. And if you had 6 of those shooting, then you basically guaranteed 9 wounds. And then you're in the territory of all those transports we've seen so far, all those Infernal APCs and the Burrower tanks are all massively under threat. The Walkers are all taking morale checks. But instead we've got this like super, let's take a lot of flamers and put it in their face instead. Into the matchups we've seen so far, I think that will serve him very well. And then the big bugs. I imagine the big bugs didn't do too well. they're kind of weird, aren't they? Really, two shots AP2,
qual 4 shooting.
They're a strange unit, very strange unit. I think overall this list is fine. It's like, I think because what he's done, which so far everyone else has kind of made a mistake of, is basically everything in this list is relatively durable. Like regen is really, really good for making things way more durable than they have any right to be. Because he's gone with the 2 naked heroes, right? Because they're so cheap. He's kept his activation count high. They can start on the board if they need to, but everything else is a lot more meaty. So I can see him doing pretty well so far. I think the only weird thing for me is definitely the big bugs, but I mean it is obviously a bug list, so I imagine the champions are the last things to go into the list and nothing else. The one thing I will say more than anything else that I love about this list is maybe for the first time ever, I've seen Warboss Fitz spend all 2,000 of his points. This man hates spending 2,000 points. What he loves spending is like 1955.
He does, doesn't he?
Come on, there must be a 45-point upgrade somewhere in this list. So, memeing aside, I think he probably did pretty well. I think it's a list that's very hard to deal with if you don't have any rending. We've not seen a massive amount of rending across the board so far. And yeah, like regen is really, really good on Dev 3 things, because if someone shoots you with deadly and you roll one of the saves, which on average you do, then the second deadly shot goes into the same target. And that absolutely neuters deadly 3, which we've seen loads of deadly 3 of so far. And obviously deadly 6 is a waste. So I think I'm a Fitz believer, and I'm going to say he went at least 2-1, maybe even 3-0. I haven't seen the rest of the list so far, though, because so far against all the other matchups, I think he's got a really strong chance into it, and especially with the game mode. The only thing he doesn't have is decent mobility. There's nothing here that really goes on the flank, which is kind of where the champs come in, and they can do a bit of work there.
I mean, they've all got quick shot aura bounding on the bugs.
Yeah, but that is still... Oh, I guess bounding is, yes, 15 inches then. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I think he did pretty well on 2-1, 3-0, whatever.
All right, we'll see how that turns out at the end. For those of you who know, get down in the comments and give us an either great analysis, Harvey, or you're a schmuck, Harvey.
Yeah.
Because, you know...
But start your comment with I'm a Noah and...
yeah, that sounds like a good place. And while you're down there, subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Next up, we're not doing Spaceman Coco again. We've already talked about you Craftwell Ponzi bozos. And then the Dwarf Guilds for Hekaito. Hello, Hekaito. Welcome to the channel.
Oh my god, yes! My favorite list.
I saw this. I literally just turned to look at the camera and see what your reaction was, and that's exactly what I expected. Right,
this is like when we made that Blessed Sister list that was just like all tough 9s.
All tough 9s, yeah.
It condensed down to, I think, this
3-unit
This
cards.
is amazing. I mean, go on,
2 units of
it.
Dwarf Warriors, 80 points each for 5 of them. They've got rifles for 24-inch A1 shots. With 2 units then of Thunder supports, doubled out. So this is 6 tough 3 dudes. And they've all got their Gravity H cannons, 24 inches A4 rending. Then we have 2 units of doubled up parasuit guards. So they are Infiltrate, so super ambush, and plasma swords. They've also got shields for fortified, so they're def 1 up when counting for sturdy, but 3 attacks AP1 rending. It's 3 unit cards, it's 6 units. Go.
There's literally no way this one won game 2. Like a 0% chance. And game 3 is too far for these motherfuckers to walk. So, and even game 1 is such a wide board. I think, unfortunately, this one went 0-3. And if it didn't go 0-3, like, whatever list it lost to, or whatever list it won against. Yeah, I'm really excited to see that one, to be honest. This is so low mobility that I don't think even the infiltrating parasuit guards can save them. Because best case scenario, the infiltrating parasuit guards take 2 objectives. And there's 5 objectives in the first game mode. The second one is progressive, and the third one is also 5. So, yeah, I also just love that. There's basically no upgrades happened here, is there really? He's put guns on the Thunder support, but hasn't put any, like, the Ignores cover thing or whatever. And then the parachute guards, they normally have the blast ones, but they don't upgrade to plasma swords. I still think you should always take the grenade launchers on these guys. I think that's just a really, really good thing for giving them a bit more flexibility. Especially later into the game where you're, like, things are out of your range because you're slow after your first attack. You can still do something. And then the Dwarf Warriors are just throwaway chaff. Yeah, this is... I've talked way too long about a list that's got nothing in it. It's basically the summary. I love it, though. And imagine this is the kind of person who was like, oh, I'll do a tournament. And then the day before, I haven't got a fucking list, have I?
Okay, that's Hakaitos. We have a custodian list, just in the friendly. Let's see what you've got for me here. All named, well, not all, but 3 named things in it. Right, we start off with a veteran master custodian joined to veteran custodian brothers, an expensive unit. The master custodian has the guardian boost aura, so a possible. Oh no, so this removes the conditionality on the AP1, and then otherwise he's got the bolt mount. Custodian Spear, 6 attacks AP3, which can come out on 2s or on 3s with an extra AP1 when going over 9 inches. We've got Veteran Custodian Brothers with a regen aura, only 3 of them though, but Spears A3, AP3, Veteran as well from the versatile attack. And then he's done it again, just a different name here, exact duplicate unit. I'm going to skip to the end one. The Custodian Combat Walker, 400 points with the Shred Mark, one of my favorite units in OPR. Its only downside is mobility, but it is a blender. And then we're low on activations. We have 3 activations, so bung in 3 Hunter Sisters, piercing target for extra AP, with AP out of the wazooie here. The Scout and Blast can do bits. We have a 6 activation Custodian list. Now, I love it. I don't think it will have done well. It just...
I think it's okay.
It's
like
fine.
it's not awful. If it wasn't 5 objectives on 2 game modes, then I think it would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think if we doubled up the Hunter Sisters instead of going for 3s, that would be better as well, because then you could get a 6 stack and you could take that AP and you could ram it up their ass and you could probably wipe out a unit. And because you're scouting and you're flamers, you can do that in a one-sided way. So I think more points spent there would be good. I think the Walker's okay in its configuration. This is kind of what I was saying before about the high elf. Oh my god, what was going on?
The heat is killing us. It's okay.
The HDF Walker, right? The HDF Walker is 80 points cheaper and has very, very similar like offensive stats to this thing. And so I think it kind of makes sense just slotting it in. I think you prefer the let's get some deadly 6 in the list
I've
version
played with
of
that.
it.
No, I think my optimal custodians list at the moment doesn't include any veteran anything. I think it's a master destroyer, the tough 9 guy, 2 blocks of dudes, 1 with swords, 1 with spears, 2 to 3 hunter sisters, a custodian combat walker, and then rounding it out maybe with some of the shooty sisters or a bike. It's 7 activations, and I don't think it would do well in this event, but it's a bit more versatile than this. But yes, I have dwelled on the Deadly 6 thing in the past. You are right.
2 things here. 1, this list does really, really, really well in some of the other lists, right? Most of the lists out there do not have more than AP 1 or 2, right? There's so much bad stuff going on there. And they have regen as well, right? So with Guardian Boost Aura in the right circumstances, these blocks aren't moving.
Yeah.
And they're melee blocks, which makes them even so much more annoying to deal with, right? Because they can just walk towards you and then you have to deal with them. You can't just ignore them. So that's good. The Walker is very similar vibe. You just kind of walk up the board, and the Hunter Sisters provide some way of dealing with chaff. If it was just a base OPR game, I'd say, yeah, decent list. Yeah. I'd like to see some points pulled places. I'd like to see double Hunter Sisters. Maybe the veteran Custodian Brothers are a bit greedy. But I think you could go with normal ones there instead. Are these a veteran lead? Yeah, veteran Master Guardians as well, which I'm not sure is worth the extra points.
I agree.
Over the normal ones. Unless Versatile Attack's got the All Rider, which I don't think it does.
Doesn't. No.
So I would pull back points there for just normal brothers. It doesn't really matter too much whether they get +1 to hit there, but it does make a difference to your points. But yeah, I mean, I think this probably suffers into the tournament pack more than anything else. I think in a base game of OPR, you probably do some moves with this stuff. It's not very flexible after you've finished deployment because Hunter Sisters are your only shot there. But if your opponent's got no scout and you can position your Hunter Sisters as well, then yeah, you go to town with them. This list probably does get rolled by Warboss Fitzes though, so.
I don't know about getting rolled by Warboss Fitzes. I think it gets rolled by the Ratman clans. I just think this can't punch through Warboss Fitzes list. Right? Okay. None of this stuff is mobile enough to be able to threaten the units that wants to be threatening it. Well, and so like literally a champion, right? Yeah. What does this list do against the Goblin champion? Yeah,
like
just on it.
Goblin champion just walks up to the objectives, and are you really going to charge it with your? What's that, 600 point units or your 400 point walker or shoot it with your blast? Like, no.
What this does, as you said at the start, is it stat checks quite a lot of things, right?
Absolutely stat check. But I think this is a classic example of like, it's good to be focused, but you don't need to spend all the points to give your opponent that stat check, right? Like even one unit of these veteran custodian brothers is enough of a stat check on the right side of the board to serve that role. When you like double into that, you start to like remove your ability to, you start to like stat check yourself against the opponent, right? Because if these hunter sisters don't do what you need it to do, the brothers and the walker aren't doing it either, right? They're not killing the chaff armies. They're getting absolutely blasted, right?
My prediction is that this list loses round 2.
I actually think this list wins round 2 because at least in round 2 you go like move, walker, and then hunter sisters 1, the last objective. And so at least you can test all the objectives and maybe you win 1 with the hunter sisters. It depends how your opponent deploys, obviously, but like you should, in theory, be able to like hunter sister apply stuff. The only disadvantage, I guess, is with 3 scouts, you only actually deploy 3 things before, so you have to indicate where you're going with each of your units.
We'll see.
But at the very least, they can test 3 objectives.
We'll go have a look. Thank you. After Justin, we have Alex Sawyer with the Dark Brothers, running them as Night Lords. A 40k Enjoyer is Alex Sawyer. That wasn't meant to rhyme. I'm glad it did. What have we got? 3 Dark Pathfinders, Shotgun, Scouts, Qual 4, Darkborn.
Yeah.
We know this is effective.
Cheapest chips,
good scout shotguns. Nice. It gives me hope for the rest of the list. 2 Dark Assault Brothers, so ambushing, A2 AP1. We have this heavy chainsaw sword, 4 attacks AP1, ambush flying. 210 points for this. 2 of those is pretty good. Alex Sawyer, you are giving me some promise here. Dark Veteran Master Brother, so the veteran one. Oops. Attached to a unit of Veteran Assault Brothers. Ooh, I'm not a fan of the Veteran Assault Brothers, but we've got Bane and Melee Aura, which means that I'm expecting to see lots of AP4 here. So this is a unit that ambushes in with shielded regen aura, but it's regen aura across 6 wounds on a 300 point unit. It's quite expensive.
It's regen aura across 3 wounds.
Well, the hero's attached to it.
Yeah, but that aura is dead by the time you
very true. But it does come in with 8 attacks AP4. That's the problem there, right? It comes in with 8 attacks AP4. Yes, any of those hits that go through are going to probably really, really go through because of Bane, but it's not that many attacks.
I mean, what I will say is I think you're evaluating this unit like it costs 400 points. This unit costs
305 points, yeah.
So yes, it's not like a master key, right? It's not going to solve all your problems. But there are lots of units that this comes down on and straight up kills. This destroys APCs,
tank, right?
APCs, tanks get shaken, loads of stuff. So while it's not like the world destroyer piece, I actually prefer this to then doubling it up. Because I think this unit with ambush as well, if applied correctly, could get 2 charges off. Darkborn gives you the extra move speed, right?
No, Darkborn reduces their move speed.
Oh, okay, that was changed around, yeah.
So they're a bit safer, I think.
I like this unit. I think depending on the matchup that you could do something with it. I don't think we needed a second one that was doubled up.
Oh yeah, he's done it twice. Fair enough. That's expensive.
I think the one unit, like now you can see what I mean, right? That one on the right is too expensive. The one on the left,
460 points.
I can see it coming in and making important plays.
For 12 attacks. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so yes, we have 2 of these Veteran Assault Brothers coming in. There's a lot of ambush coming out of this armor here. And a Dark Light Gunship. This is just aircraft shenanigans on a 3-up thing. Interesting Darkborn plus the aircraft 12-inch range are never shooting this guy. But we've got no deadly, so this is actually 10 attacks. 6 of them are AP2. 4 hits AP1. It can do things, but not as well as I'd like it to. It is quality 3.
So yes, this is very clearly, this is a flank overload list. Right, if we're putting them in our own terms, it's hyper mobile. It's very, very clear and focused. Right, we're coming down on one flank. We're absolutely annihilating that flank, and then we're trusting that the Dark Pathfinders can play the board.
In deployment, think about what this does in deployment.
Yeah, it literally puts down a ship and goes like, right, you.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I think, in terms of mobility, very, very impressive. I think if the Pathfinders can do their role, it stands a very good chance into some of the game modes because not many things can deal with just being like, okay, this whole flank is now dead. Now, is it durable enough to then survive the crackbacks on those flanks? I don't know. I think the difficulty it's going to have is...
If Alex Sawyer does accurate measurements throughout his day, this is a 3-0 list. You have to play very precise gameplay. Very precise.
Yeah, very, very precise. And your opponent also has to, like, the advantage this list have is because the maps are so spread out that the things that this needs to be the case to succeed are the case because your opponent is spread out, right?
Yeah.
So Darkborn gets a lot of value because your opponent has to be split up. So these individual come down and destroy units are actually really good because you come and destroy it and you can destroy it safely.
Yeah.
I think the thing that struggles with is keeping the objectives in the game too.
Yeah.
Because obviously all its ambush is useless. It kind of has to start on the board or really, really suffer. And so I think this probably falls over there. And then it probably has a 50-50 matchup into some of the matchups that don't care, that don't have like such big units. Like Bane is
What does
obviously
this
nice
do
into
against
like regen and stuff.
custodians?
Well, hopefully he kills a custodian unit, but
this veteran assault brother unit has the punch to do it. This one doesn't, I think. Like Regen's doing some heavy. Oh, is Bane?
Bane's
No, Bane was okay. So this is doing a bit.
Yeah. It's worth noting that on the charge, if they're charging from over 9 inches away, which they are because they're ambushed, they're actually -2 AP.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, this list, if played well, it's a very technical list. Like Flank Olo is very difficult to play because you need to know when to do your big fancy, I put all my units on one side and destroy it and know that's going to win you the game. But you also need to know when to pull back on that and go like, I need to play a more normal game here because this person has certain things. What would be really nice, this list, is if it was a gunship with transport so that it could pick shit up and move across the board the next turn.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that, which is a shame, but I think it's fine.
Yeah. Anytime
I like to see this list too. I like to see this because it's different. Yeah.
Anytime you see the Darkborn Shadowstalkers Wood Elf rule, think you really have to think in your game, and so this could just punish someone for just making a slight miscalculation.
I think this could be a 2-0 list.
It's good. And our last one is Verl's own list, which Verl did give us some notes to say. A low activation list as a reserve to make sure that they can still run the tournament on the side. So we've got a Prime Warrior with Deadly 3 Unstoppable, 105 points. Cute for 100 points, right? For a tough 6 thing to go around and be annoying. A Grunt Veteran with some Winged Grunts. So this is 20 ambushing grunts with the Biospiners, A2, AP1. We've got increased shooting range aura, so it can come in and shoot shotguns, which is quite cute.
Is that only 9 inches though?
6 plus 6. Yeah.
Okay, so they're shooting 12 inches.
They're shooting 12 inches.
Not amazing, but yeah.
40 shots. Just wait some dice. I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball. A Prime Warrior attached to some Hive Warriors, Rapid Charge Aura. This guy's got 7 attacks, which is cute. And these guys have got so it's a doubled up unit of Hive Warriors. Okay, so 4 attacks on each of them means that we've got 24 attacks with Bane and Precise on a Rapid Charge Aura. That is going to blend anything with low defense, which is quite good. Precise is +1 to hit, not reliable. Still good. And then a Prime Warrior Rapid Charge Aura attached to a unit of 6 Hive Warriors. These ones with A2, AP1 Rending. Very straightforward, very effective. A2, AP1 Rending is a nice profile. Sorry, A4, because it's 2 per model. Then a unit of 3 Hive Warriors with guns. 18-inch A3, AP nothing, and 1 Deadly AP2 one. And then a Tyrant Great Beast, which is just 12 shots AP1 at 18 inches, and then a Deadly 3 Unstoppable thing. This isn't meant to be a tournament stomping list. It's meant to be straightforward. No. I think it is quite straightforward. I wouldn't be surprised if he did better than he thought with it. I would be surprised if he was 0-3
it's
on
still
a normal
Hives
player.
At the end of the day.
It's still 80 in Hives.
But
he's also running the tournament at the same time.
Literally no AP. It's obviously the biggest problem here.
Yeah. You've got 4 attacks with AP4 here. And Rending. But yes, you're right. Very, very low AP.
Basically no AP. This list struggles against the Flamer spam we've seen, right? Like Flamers are good into basically everything here. Obviously apart from the Tyrant Great Beast, but so yeah, I mean, like I think this is like a 1 and 2, 2 and 1 kind of list. I don't think it does too much in the progressive mission either. And I think it does struggle when this is split up. Mobility because your only AP4 is this like 1 middle unit, which is like using Rending to get the AP. So that thing needs to be putting a lot of work in, and it's waddling around so slowly that I don't think it really can.
Yeah. Okay. That's our razz through of the lists. As Verl had said, there were 12, including themselves. So let's go and talk about the matches and results and see what Verl has to say about that. Okay, so we're going to go and have a look at how the matches went at this point. A little note from Verl at the start here, which is the Ratman clans played by Stephen are marked with an S, and the Ratman clans played by Max are marked with an M. I think we had Stephen's higher than Max's, if I recall.
Yep.
I can always bring these up again as we go on through.
Stevens was more rounded. Max had the 2 units of A1 Surge and some scouts and stuff like that. They're both pretty decent lists.
Yeah, our criticism of Stephen was the saboteurs. So let's go and have a look. So round 1, let's see the pairings and the results. So we've got Alien Hives versus High Elf Fleets. Oh, we have 2 draws in the initial one. We've got Custodian Brothers against Human Defense Force, Goblin Reclaimers, that's Fits, against the Dark Brothers, Saurian Star Host against the Dwarf Guilds, the Ratman clans by Max against the Ratman clans by Stephen. Ooh, big prediction upset there. And the Blood Brothers against the Blessed Sisters. Right, so I'm going to pick on a few things here. I'm going to go for 2, then you go for 2, okay? Saurian Starhost drawing with the Dwarf Guilds. That is a bit of a shocker for me. Well, actually, no, I'm going to take that back because we said that the Saurian Starhost didn't have enough punch. And so the Dwarf Guilds will just sat on points, right?
That's super not surprising to me. I don't think the Saurian Star has a good way of dealing with the Dwarf Guilds with their setup. Like those tough 3, like lots of rending shots will do really well into the kind of armor that the Saurian Star has brought. They're actually surprisingly tanky as well. Very, very hard to get through 18 wounds.
Yeah.
And then obviously the ambush units will have absolutely ruined the Saurian Stars as well. They'll have no way of dealing with that at all.
Yeah.
Especially where they can just ambush onto points.
Ambush onto points, shove them off because they're short range. Okay. The Dwarf Guild's drawing that out then. I was going to say it's surprising, but with that Saurian Star Host list, I'm not so surprised. And then let's see, I'm going to take one more thing. I'm going to say I am surprised that the Hives drew with the High Elf Fleets, actually. I thought the High Elf Fleets might have pipped that game. But I suppose that the lack of AP on the Hives didn't matter so much in that matchup.
This is a real, the High Elf Fleets didn't have much mobility in the moment they had was weak. So the Hives are matched really, really well into the bit of mobility the High Elf Fleets have, and the board's quite wide. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was like the Elementals took one side of the board and held that side, and the other side of the board was let down by the scout units.
Yeah.
Because certain parts of the Hive that's going to do really well into it. I'm not sure the High Elf Fleets had a really good way of dealing with the Tyrant Lord. And AP 1 and that many shots is just really good into High Elves. So no surprises there too much. Custodians versus Human Defense Lord, you hate to see it.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, Human Defense Lord managed to punch through enough Custodian units, so they only got 2 VP, which is somewhat surprising because it's 2 and 6, right? So there's 1 contested objective there, which I would have thought they would have at least someone would have been on every point, right? And I would have thought that the Custodians would have.
Makes 2 and 3. So 1 and 3.
So one's
Custodian
drawn, right?
One's drawn, and 3 to the HDF. You rip apart the Hunter Sisters.
Yeah.
Then you blast down the Walker, and then they killed or managed to neutralize the point with one of the Vet Brothers and gave up a point to another Vet Brother. I think that's the way that goes.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, I mean, obviously the elite army had a difficulty with the wide board, right? That's certainly what's happened here. If it was a smaller board, but I think also that their lack of mobility in the very expensive units as well means they can't use that power very well. So maybe Human Defense was just played around it, but Human Defense didn't have that much punch into Custodian Brothers. I'm surprised to see it be only 2 VP to Custodian Brothers. I would be more comfortable if it was 0 VP to them and they had more drawn objectives.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
interesting.
It would be a bit closer.
Fitz let me down, but the Dark Brother list, I kind of said this at the time we were talking about it, but it goes really well into Fitz's list because of the Bane. Right? So
AP4 and Bane. Also, so Fitz has got 2 blocks of 3 guys with Death 5. So 2 blocks of 6 tough 3 guys with Death 5, right?
Yeah.
In those Flame of Bug Riders. So everything, I think, ruins that. They've got regen, sure, but the Bane offsets that if you push something there. Other than that, his big tough things are the tough 6 bugs, and spoilers, they suck.
Yeah, they do suck.
And they sucked for Fitz, I think, all tournament along, if I recall correctly. So
yeah, I can see that the Dark Brothers doing well into that then, because I mean, like, you said that they had high mobility because of the infinite dashing thing, but nothing shuts that down faster than just being charged and killed.
yeah, I don't
Like
care if you're
this,
nipping around if you're dead.
yeah, this is like it's like an all ambush list against a list that hates being ambushed upon. So not too surprising there. I can only assume the naked heroes got him the 2 points. Legends. Then what else we got here? Sorry, we talked about that one. Ratman Clans M versus Ratman Clans S. So how surprising is this? In terms of matchup against each other, I feel like the blast weapons aren't very good into the other Ratmen list.
Yeah, maybe that was the drawback,
and
right?
Steven spent
This is Stevens.
yeah, a quarter of his list was weapon experts that didn't do too well into it. So there's that. And also Steven's list doesn't, I guess, well, I was gonna say another to punish the agents, but actually the blast one punishes the agents pretty well. This might have just been a play difference because the lists are very, very similar.
They are.
They have very similar capabilities. So it might just be a tactical blunder more than anything else.
I wonder how many 4-up casts were thrown and whiffed.
Yeah, stuff like that, right?
I think also Stevens' list is very engineered for AP4, right? You've got all of that hazardous, all of the agents and the burrower tank.
The burrower tank, yeah.
So he's way more AP4 than Max, so maybe that was something that played into it. Don't know.
Either way.
So we're wrong on a lot of points. Again, we're right about Blessed Sisters being the Blood Brothers. I'm not surprised to see this. And I'm not surprised.
We weren't massively wrong. I'd say into the first one being a draw, like who's going to guess that? The second one, I think that aligns with what we said.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think Custodian Brothers have a bad time.
I think this does align with what we've said, but
I think so as well. Like, yeah.
The Dark Brothers beating the Goblin Reclaimers isn't massively surprising.
A draw down the middle there, I think is fine. Like I said, I think the Dwarf Guilds lose every matchup, so a draw kind of makes sense.
Yeah, just being so resilient. This
Ratman we were definitely wrong about, I'd say. I think we were leaning Steven more than M.
We were, but with the benefit of hindsight, I can see why. But then this one, yeah, Blessed Sisters are going to mince those Blood Brothers. Blood Brothers doesn't have enough output, I think, and the Blessed Sisters, those Flamers are going to do bits to them.
Yeah. So before we click on round 2, with that in mind, what lists here do you think, based on this a tiny bit of extra information we've got, are going to win next round?
Right. So Blessed Sisters beats. Oh, that's tough, you know. I think Human Defense Force loses. Then, depending on the matchup, this is progressive. So, actually, the Dark Brothers are, I think, in the losing bracket. If it was like Dark Brothers versus Ratman Clans, I think Ratman Clans wins that one.
The only place Dark Brothers have a chance here is if they go into the Dwarf matchup, I think.
They can't go into the Dwarf matchup.
There's winners, of course.
Yeah, there's 4-2-0. There's 4-6. 4-1-0s. My God, I can't.
So it's HDF, Dark Brothers, Ratman Clans, and Blessed Sisters. So we're saying who's going 2-0, I guess. I think the Dark Brothers struggle here because I don't think there's a really good matchup for them anymore. I think the Blessed Sisters are probably winning.
I think it's Sisters and Ratman Clans, right? Unless they're against each other, I'd say those are the 2-0s. But if they're against each other, I'd say I'd give it to the Ratman Clans.
I think HDF having an aircraft is pretty good into the Ratman Clans.
I think if it's Blessed Sisters versus Ratman Clans and HDF versus Dark Brothers, I think it's Ratman Clans and HDF. Anything else, actually, I think it's Ratman Clans.
I just remember what their HDF list kind of looks like. The no flamethrower sappers and stuff like that makes it a lot weaker. Okay, yeah. So I think I'm with you here in terms of the winners. Yeah, let's go Ratman Clans and Blessed Sisters for going 2-0. Who's going 0-2?
So the Blood Brothers. No, I can't. I know the answer to one of those. Okay, so I'll leave that with you. I'll leave it to you to say that one.
That means Fitz lost, because otherwise you wouldn't have phrased it like that.
Well, no, because it would mean that I know if he wins or loses.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So he's either in it or not, is what I mean.
I think Custodian Brothers. This is probably their best matchup here.
What in the prog mission?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because at least they can get some points before they get heavily outmobilized. Because at least they're on the points doing stuff early, right? And they're hard to move then. But like I said before, what does it do against a champ, right? Who's just like hanging on the wings? They can't get in range of it, right? Because it's all melee. So they end up getting decapped there. So yeah, I think Custodian Brothers, while this is their strongest matchup, if they played against Steven, I think it's probably a negative matchup because of all the blast. I think Blood Brothers have got to lose another round here.
Yeah.
So I think, but the Custodian Brothers probably do beat the Blood Brothers, and probably do okay into their Acclaimers matchup. So maybe it is Fitz losing.
It's
If Fitz
really
needed more
tough,
deadly.
right?
Like I said, he needed more of the bouncy bugs that were deadly and less of the flamethrower bugs because he just was lacking in the AP punch. And I think the tough 6 guys sucked it. So I think I'm going to go with, because we didn't see, when I was reviewing Fitz's list, it was against all the other previous lists, which were all kind of like very susceptible to blast. But what's remaining here is not that a lot of that. I think Fitz could win against Ratman Clans though. So I'm going to go with the 0-2s, the Blood Brothers, and I'm going to go with Custodians because they stand the chance of just being outmobilized.
And who wins in the ties? Because I think the High Elf Fleets and the Alien Hives beat both of the either of the bottom two. Because we've got 2 drawn, so that means that the Hives are against Saurians or Dwarves.
Dwarf Guilds have to lose here, right? Surely on Progressive they lose. And then from there, I think the High Elf Fleets and, probably Alien Hives. Though the Alien Hives isn't amazing. And if Alien Hives goes against a Star Host, it could lose its 400-point model on round 1. I'm going to go HEF and Saurian Star Host.
I'm going to go HEF and Alien Hives. Let's go and have a look at the matchups and the results. So, I'm wrong. And where are my sisters? Wrong and right. Okay. So in the top 2, we had Max's Ratman Clans against the Human Defense Force. And, actually, no, I was right about that. I was right. Yay. The Ratman Clans beat out the Human Defense Force. I think it is a better
pretty
list.
Convincingly. Oh my God, 16-0.
16-0. Yeah, because they can deploy through the transport and then those units just disintegrate. And what if the sappers don't get their thing? I mean, even the veterans, right? They're qual 4, 10 shots, AP1. That can just not do enough.
The only prediction we got wrong here then was Fitz's.
Yes, and I knew the results of that one, unfortunately. But yes, Steven's Ratman Clans thumping the Blood Brothers. It wasn't a thumping, actually. It was quite close, 8-4. The Custodian Brothers, Fitz just couldn't punch through. Unfortunately.
But also 13 points total. There's 16 points up for grab. So there's some contesting going on there as well, which is early game. I'm really surprised he needed to punch through the Custodians to win that matchup,
rather than just outmoving them.
Well, I just think that like there's 4 objectives. There's 3 durable units. Like just yeet your tough 6s onto the points to try and get some value. But because the last one has to be contested by Hunter Sisters.
Yeah.
Which means you definitely beat that. I don't know, maybe because there's 3 of them, it's quite hard to punch through. But yeah, you just like throw champs in after the big boys get on the points. I'd be interested to see that matchup. Maybe I'll go and watch it. But it's a pretty close game, 5-8.
Yeah, it is a close game. It is a close game. I think it is attrition that wins out.
But yeah, like I said before, like all the AP4 becomes AP2 against some of the Custodian units, which is rough.
Yeah, it really is.
So a bit of a stat check. But yeah, I mean, poor Dark Brothers. I really hoped. I wonder if they deployed an ambush, because only getting 2 points suggests deploying an ambush.
It does. But even deploying on the board, right, with everything except for the veteran brothers, you are in a bit of a tough time, I think, against the sisters. With the APCs, are going to be just so instrumental there. I think 12 points might show that.
Straight up think you just raw dog it. You deploy your ambushing guys on the board.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then but like even the veteran guys can go like, okay, well, like you have a lot of flamethrowers, so you know you have to, with -4 inch range to shooting, you have to come within 8 inches of me to use those.
What's interesting is Disintegrate will have been live for both of the Blessed Sisters' first 2 games, Brothers into Brothers.
Yeah, that is pretty good for them, isn't it? And the no thingy.
Oh my God, no regen.
They're 9-inch range, though, aren't they? They're 9-inch range, the Blessed.
No, they're 12.
Oh, they were 9-inch for a while, right?
Yeah. I think I was in beta that they were 9 inches. I can't remember.
Yeah, that would be brutal here because it'd be 5-inch range. But
that would be. Well, it's minimum 6.
Is it? Is that? That's also.
I think that's how that works. Maybe it's only 6 inch on the move. I'm just wrong. In any event, Disintegrate's online. It's double online because of the regen aura stuff. The Destroyers are still Death 3 because it's Base Battle Brothers.
That's a very good matchup for the Blessers. But also, the Dark Brothers had a bad matchup there. Okay, so that means who have we got then? So it's, I think you said it's based on VP, the matchups, right? Or no, is it just based on wins and losses?
It's based on wins, tiebreakers, VP. So we have got after game 1. So Max is 2-0 and the Blessed Sisters are 2-0. Okay, so it's at least probably Sisters versus that. Yeah, it will be Sisters. The 2-0s are them. Are Max.
I think
and
Sisters win that matchup because of the mobility.
Into round 3. It's tough, I think that's quite a tricky one. The Flamers really have to do a lot of lifting. You have to point the fusion guns at the death wheel. Max didn't have.
What does Max do against the transports though? Right, like
oh god,
charge.
Oh my god, the Flamers are going to annihilate these Rat Ogre agents.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in for Blessed Sisters 3-0ing this.
I think so.
Which seems pretty good. Alien Hives and High Elf fleets have already played one another, so there's a pair up, pair down happening there, which is going to be quite interesting to see. So this is the point where we can't really predict all of it. So who's the 2-0-2? 0-2 is Goblin Reclaimers and Blood Brothers. I've watched that, so I can't talk about the result. Who do you think wins?
I mean, surely Fitz wins that matchup. Surely he does. Even with the tough sixes being crap, they're relatively okay into the Blood Brother matchup. He would have to get. I mean, that being said, no, they're just April 1. They're not April 1 Rending, are they? The Blood Brothers guys, yeah, they haven't got Rending in there. I don't know. I mean, surely he doesn't go 0-3. I just think the what I will say is I think maybe I was right to just go like, wow, Fitz is so shit at the game. He loses all 3. Maybe I was. I should start with my initial prediction. I knew it in my heart of hearts.
Oh man,
if he loses to the Blood Brothers matchup, then yeah. I mean,
Grumpy Wolf has really got to you right in saying that Fitz is the better channel.
No, it's Fitz. It's Fitz. Honestly, he's been mean about us ever since we've known him. So
he's horrible to us. He's absolutely brutal about the channel.
Yeah, and everyone who's met him in real life as well says that about him.
He's just a horrible guy. He's nothing but mean. Yeah, reasonable take. Okay, so what's your view? Do you think the Blood Brothers or the Reclaimers wins that one?
I have to have faith in Fitz.
Okay,
I have to believe that he can do something there because I don't think the Blood Brothers was that scary. Maybe he gets ambushed on and it goes a little bit sour, but if he plays it correctly, then maybe he can overlap some fire and something will come back from that. But I can also see him just getting ambushed on and just losing a whole unit and then being like, well, fuck this. Actually, maybe they lose morale as well.
Morale is a real thing for Goblin.
They probably just get charged and lose morale, don't they? Oh, well. Okay, so Fitz loses that one.
We can't, because of the ties in round 1, the pair up, the pair down, it's really difficult to get into the way the middle brackets unfurl. So I think rather than getting too bogged down in that, let's move on.
Well, I'll just say win-loss for the rest of them. So
okay.
So the top matchup is Blessed Sisters versus Ratman, so they're out of it. HCF in this round, I think, is looking at the other matchups, probably losing. I'm going to give the win to Dark Brothers. I'm going to give the loss to Dwarf Guilds. I'm going to give the win to Alien Hives. I'm going to give the win to High Elf Fleets, the loss to Starhost, the loss to Custodian Brothers, and then the other Ratman clans list, the win.
So, okay, let's go and just have a look rather than writing it down and technicaling it out. Round 3. And so this was the square corner deployment zones, 5 objectives, diagonal, end of game scoring. Yeah. We have a lot of draws. Holy moly.
So that means I'm right?
Sisters against Rats, a draw. Wow.
Whoa,
High Elf Fleets against Custodian Brothers, another draw. Custodians are doing much better than I thought they'd do here. Alien Hives against Stevens Ratman Clans is a draw. Now that is a bit of an upset. I would not have expected that to be a tie. Dark Brothers beating out Human Defense Force, yes.
Not to the Dwarf Guilds. Wait, no, we must have done the things.
We must have done it incorrectly then.
Well, maybe something's weird going on with the pairing.
Maybe. But yes, he does lose to the Dwarf Guilds. It's a bit of a stack check there again. And it is an unfortunate 0-point Aroni.
Once again, a position where having more of the deadly ones would have served Fitz a lot more than having twice as many flamethrowers. Flamethrowers are a unit that is so good
Do you want
But if
another
you have
stab at
two
that?
of them, you've got a real chance of redundancy. Like you've got a real chance of just like, there's actually not enough things to hit with flamethrowers, and the mobility loses so much value because I've already used like the mobility of one to wipe out a flank, and I'm kind of getting the value there, and the other one just kind of like sits around. Whereas AP4 is never going to be that, right? Like you could have taken 6 of those deadly 4 bugs and shot them at a brothers unit and killed the brothers unit, and it's fine because it's AP4. So I think maybe that would have helped the list as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's Goblin Reclaimers. Saurian Star Host beating out the Blood Brothers. I'm not surprised by that. Yeah, just as well. Disintegrate having ignores regen that I missed as well. Probably we had an Ankylosaurus just pairing into the Combat Walker and doing it better. I'm not surprised by that. I think the Saurian Star Host list was better than the Blood Brothers, which was just
oh my god,
bit confused.
I just seen that Fitz got 10 0'd. Holy crap.
Yeah, he got absolutely pulled apart by horses.
But to be fair, like I said, those slow moving, really hard to kill rending guns absolutely decimate.
Oh my god, yeah,
bugs,
ruin him, right?
Right. So this is eternally the regen problem, right? Like if you rely solely on regen, sometimes someone comes along with rending and goes like, well, unfortunately that means you're just going to die here.
I'm just going to turn you off, right? Yeah.
I think maybe some bad matchups here for Fitz as well. I don't think that's a great matchup for him because not only does the guy have ambushing to deal with a lot of Fitz's stuff, which is just going to wipe him out. Also, I think were they the rending versions? They were AP1 rending swords as well as rending guns.
Oh, they were, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, super bad.
Super countered there. Also, what do your tough 6 things do in this matchup? Right? You're relying on your opponent low rolling because sturdy means that you're at AP1 on those crappy walkers. And yeah, if you don't punch through, then you're in a bit of trouble. And even if you do,
50-50.
you have to hit on a 50-50. Then they've got only AP1 because of sturdy. Yeah. And then what? You plink one thing through maybe on average? Like, yeah, they just suck.
I think, like in general, all the bug units are a bit weird, right? I think we spoke about that when we did the Goblins review forever ago, right? They were like bounding, regen, it sounds really fun, but just let down by everything about them, basically. And I think the AP4 version is the only real good version. Yeah. So what else is there? So Saurian Star Host beat Blood Brothers. So yeah, I mean, that Blood Brothers list just wasn't together enough, and Saurian Star Host are just relatively well-rounded, and 12-inch shooting will do that for you.
Human Defense Force versus Dark Brothers is close, 4-2.
It is close, but I can see that being close because the Dark Brothers probably ambush everything on the tank, which leaves the rest of the board feeling relatively weak. Because obviously you've got your big AP4 stack with Bane, and then you've got your mini one, and you probably do go like, right, I'm killing that enormous fucking tank, and then maybe the Combat Walker.
I wonder how much time was spent with the Dark Brothers plane chasing down the Human Defense Force plane.
Yeah. Yeah, either way, I think, I'm not too surprised by it being a relatively close match, but Dark Brothers taking another win, though, good.
Yeah. The Custodian Brothers holding the High Elf fleets to a draw.
That's interesting. This is the no shifter thing. It's what happens when you bring no shifters, because
but it was that you made the comment, right? Even with the AP4 guns, it's AP2 against. No, it's not AP2 though. It's not. That's not what Boost does. Hold on a second, we've got that wrong. That's not what Boost does anymore.
Is Boost now just always on?
Boost is just flat AP1 always on. We've got that wrong. So,
is the new boosts are becoming that? Are they?
I can't remember what the new boost is becoming, but it was at a time in beta. Yeah. It was AP1 and AP2. We complained about it. A lot of people complained about it on DEF2, AP-2 being insane. So now it's just AP1 always on. So it is AP3, but it's 5-ups into 5-ups. I don't remember the High Elf fleets having that much rending. Where are you, Coco?
No. And the thing about those Wraith Cannon guys as well, they've got A3 AP4, and the AP4 kind of like draws your eye, but the A3 is so crushingly disappointing that I can imagine actually you probably don't get as many shots off there as you'd like, and then obviously regen still kicks in. I think it's just it's
scout units just like it's custodian stat check. I agree with you.
But those scout units need to be playing the game like they're the most important units for winning that matchup, right? Because first of all, you can immediately kill Hunter Sisters. That's perfect, right? Like you scout, I scout, you scout, I scout, I kill your Hunter Sister, right? You kill one of my guys, I kill one of your guys, right? That's a bloodbath, which kind of favors the High Elves. I guess who gets rolled off as well really matters there. But then also, if they're still alive, which they're killing Hunter Sisters, they probably are, they can then start trickling in and decapping, and because there's no flexibility in the custodian list anymore, you can probably reach the point where you're decapping slow enough where they have to stay on the point turn after turn because they're melee. which lets you set up other things to then come contest on the point. And yeah, I think that's quite a very, very technical matchup, and I can see a couple of dice was going poorly or whatever, and just like mincing that one. But
this draw at the top, Blessed Sisters and Ratman Clans. So an interesting one to see.
Ratman win then, do they?
Well, let's have a look at the final standings. So the final standings, spoilers beware, we had maybe Max's Ratman Clans. Oh yeah, no. Ooh, 2-1-0. Yes, win, drawn, loss. That's right. Sorry, I've got the one in the wrong place in my head. So the 2 drawn put maybe Max and Vorpal Chainsaw, which I seem to recall are, those are our sisters and our sisters and rats. Yeah, maybe Max and Vorpal Chainsaw. Very good. So they are at the top, and it actually goes to maybe Max's Ratmen Clans with a VP difference. So that tiebreaker, very important there.
Yeah, they had that stomp in round 2, didn't they? So
they did. Alex Sawyer with his 2-1 then comes out in third, which makes a lot of sense. I seem to recall liking Alex's lists. I need to remind myself. I've already forgotten, which is awful. Max Sawyer, Alex Sawyer down here. Dark Brothers. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. We predicted that one as being a 2-0. We'd call it a 2-1 wins-loss, but this is presented as wins, drawn, losses. So that makes sense. And then the rest comes down. Pearl's giving himself some little silly face as we get down through the rest of the lists. Oh, here we go. Actually, that's a more helpful little ranking at the bottom there. So yes, maybe Max's Ratman Clans coming out on top. Well done to you, maybe Max. Vorpal Chainsaw's Blessed Sisters losing out on the top spot on victory points, and Alex Sawyer's Dark Brothers in third. Now, how does that shake out in terms of what we predicted? Goblin Reclaimers, I didn't put a prediction to it. Sorry, Fitz already knew the results, but Blood Brothers, I expected that to be low. Human Defense Force, I expected that to be low. I think the thing that surprises me is Stephen's Ratman Clans being quite so far down the list.
What was Stephen Fallon's score? 1-1-1.
1-1-1.
So that's just a VP difference, really, because he could have been 6th.
Yes,
there's so many 1-1-1s. I mean, I guess far apart objectives result in more draws because you tend to win one side and then you're too far away to contest the other side. I imagine that happens quite a lot in those wide ones. I think I don't know if Vel's settled on a tournament pack for the next one or not, but I would like to see a shift towards more 4 objectives. I think 4 objectives ends in less draws and maybe a bit closer objectives as well to encourage a bit more variety. I think it's nice to have some far apart game modes and some close together ones.
Bit of variety.
This was a tournament with basically all far apart ones.
Yeah. Interesting to see. And then the Dwarf Guilds, I think, overperforming on certainly my initial analysis. Just a bit of a stat check coming in there, along with the Custodians. Saurian Star Host
playing against Fitz is a huge leg up for the Dwarf Guilds, right? Because basically any other list, I think they lose to.
Just Rending doing its job really well.
Very favourably there.
Yeah, interesting. So it didn't quite. There were a few points that didn't quite shake out, but I was pleased. I'm pleased to see Coco doing so well with the High Elf fleets. I thought it was a pretty good list. I'd be interested to know how the Combat Walker did and the Stingers did. But yeah, our predictions were pretty square. Well done, Alex Sawyer. I think, that Dark Brothers one could be a really good technical day for you. Still, only 1 loss is pretty solid. And the Blessed Sisters, Ratman Clans, I'm not surprised to see those at the top. Just the thing that we were so wrong about, I think, was Stevens. But interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Alex Sawyer's report on how round 2 went.
Yes.
Like in terms of like what he did strategy wise and how it worked and such. Because like I say, like that list is obviously very polarized towards base game. But I don't think it's completely destroyed in round 2. I mean, against Blessed Sisters it is, but I would like to hear what he did deployment-wise and what the thinking behind it was. And maybe it's not the most representative thing, but at least like to see what the decision was there.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. That was really enjoyable. Hope you at home enjoyed hearing that too. The final comments from Vael are this. All in all, I don't have too much for an afterword. Okay, as everything went quite well and took less managing than I expected.
Paragraphs later.
In terms of improvements for the future, they do wish for minor things for scoring and maps. The good thing is the maps can be reused for future events and can be easily adjusted. Yeah, that seems good, but they intend to make new ones on July the 11th. So 11th of July 2026, there'll be another one. So if you're listening and interested in playing, try and get there. I think that's a bit of a call out as well by Val saying, can we advertise this a bit earlier? So there you go, Val. We're getting it in hopefully by the end of June. And then Havoc Gate 3 will likely be Age of Fantasy, and some ideas for 4x4 formats once the next patch comes out. And I think this next bit is Val saying that they're trying to push online play. I think it's fantastic. And thank you very much, Val, for pushing this through and planning future ones. This is so wonderful to see. As we've said at the start, Harvey and I aren't able to make the next one. Just planning clashes, sadly. Let us know as soon as you can about Havoc Gate 3, and I will get that in the diary and join, because it looks really fun. Love an online game, love an online tournament. And so I think that kind of wraps up all we've got to say.
Yeah, so is Havoc Gate 2 mixed then? Is that on right now?
Yes.
Yeah. But this one here is talking about Havoc Gate 1. So yeah, very interesting to see a mixed tournament kicking around. It would be cool to do the analysis on that one. I wonder how close we are. Yeah, I mean, I think list building is going to come into it massively. It's a challenging format, mixed format. I think we're a bit burnt out with it, right? But I think if you're coming into it completely fresh, there's a lot to absorb, right? Like it's 50 armies or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Havoc Gate 3 being all Age of Fantasy. If you're out there and you're listening to our channel, surely you'd like a bit of AOF, and surely you're going to be there for that. You're not going to let that tournament be a letdown. We can't have fucking GDF outpacing us, lads. All right, get your dragons out. Come on.
Whip your dragons out, he says, while topless on YouTube. Nice one.
Yeah, overall, I think that was fun, right? I think that we were a lot less shown up by that one than we were the previous one.
Yeah, for sure.
I think our predictions were a lot better. I think we knew a lot more about I feel like the things we said were more aligned with probably what happened in the games as well, and they kind of reflect the output.
I think I was very wrong about the dwarves. I expected that to be a 0 and 3. In hindsight, I understand why they will have done well.
It's a lot of def 3, tough 3 with okay shooting. I mean, like I said, one of them was definitely a matchup thing, but yeah. Interestingly enough, this tournament, I think, kind of demonstrates a little bit about the issues with 3.5.3, in that there was a lot of polarizing stuff, right?
Yeah.
We kept saying, like, this matchup is a win matchup, right? Which I think is a shame for the game. It's a shame when you kind of show up and you don't really have much of a chance. Like the Blessed Sisters into the Dark Bros, right? That is such a tragic matchup, right? And if it's a matchup that, if it had happened a game prior, would have been way more fair.
Yeah,
but the fact that it's progressive completely overwrites any of that. It would also be interesting, Val, if you're interested in running one like this, to run a hybrid tournament for scoring, right? Running like the ramping up progressive
1, 2, 3,
style
4,
or
0, 1, 1, 2.
0, 1, 1, 2. Or
well, there's
what was the other thing we said in that as well? There was like an extra set of numbers.
2, 1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2 sort of thing of like, I deploy 2, you deploy 1. I deploy 1, you deploy 2, right? Like that sort of shit of like 1, 2, 2, 1 sort of shit.
Oh yeah, I'm all about that. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
No, you said it was a 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 2. That was what yours was.
I know, that's my preferred.
We've done it again. For anyone who's an audiobook enjoyer or just a Brandon Sanderson enjoyer, there's a prologue to one of his chapters, which is just numbers, just pure numbers, which is hilarious when you're listening to the audiobook and you just hear the narrator go 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 8, 6, 6, 1, 2, 2 for about 3 minutes while he just reads these numbers that mean nearly nothing other than either way. It's just crazy. But for more of that, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, it would be interesting to see. One of the extra things, sorry, I'm actually going to draw on a point there. An interesting idea in these tournaments for really throwing off our analysis is including player-placed objectives, because that is such... you can't analyze that. It's such a skill. No. It's a player skill, not an army-based inference. So that is something that could really just screw our analysis through the pooch.
But it won't. We're really good.
Yeah. We are pros.
We're 1 for 1 on these tournament analysis. That makes us really good at it.
We're really good at it.
We'll get the draw next time.
Thanks for listening to us waffle, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, join us in the Discord, all that usual stuff. I'm Dave. He's Harvey. This is Don't Think, Just Charge. Hope you're enjoying the summer heat.